God, it's hot in that thing. What's going on, everybody? We are back from the dead, the big October special. I am the BrettMan. This is my co-host, Destiny. So, Destiny, it looks like you are having a rough day today. Hopefully, everything is okay, and those kind don't get infected. So, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
It's almost October, so there's that. Or I meant Halloween.
Yeah.
It is October. October is almost over, but it's almost Halloween. So, I'm excited about that. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to now. It's just
Oh, yeah.
Halloween.
Oh yeah, which will be coming up this Tuesday. I know you had a very busy October, so I hope at least you got some good October watches along the way. But man, this again, guys, this is our big October special. This is like the biggest show of the year for us. So we decided to dress up right here. As you saw me, like, I'm Michael Myers. You're not supposed to be playing Michael Myers. Chad, that's for you in the chat. I saw you there in your stupid resurrection bullshit. Already beat you to it. So, Destiny, who attacked you for your cosplay?
Um, an infected person,
Uh-oh.
possibly rabies.
Are
I
you
don't know.
are you in quarantine right now?
I am. I'm in my room.
Okay, good, because we cannot afford a breakout right now. So, but we're going to have a good time tonight. There are a lot of movies to cover, so we're going to go ahead and get things to it. I am going to address the chat real quick. So let's see who all is here. We got Rosie, my dear. I have you ready. Let's see here. Oh, where's your rose? There it is. Rosie, my dear, here is your rose. Let's see here. Who else we got? We got man, if my chat would work with me here. Here we go. We got Mark Jones. What's going on? We got Brendan the Beldon. What's going on? We got Chester. We got Ashton. We got Yo Adrian. How you doing? We got Gavin's in the house. Of course we got Chad. Who else we got here? Who else? Who else? We got Dana Banner saying, "Who are you people?" You know what? I'm trying to figure that out every day. And Gavin says, "Are we sure that's blood, or did she get in a fight with a bottle of ketchup?"
It's scab blood. Thank you very much. That my
Okay.
mom's fiance broke getting open because it was so stuck together from last year. He cracked the lid, so we had to duct tape it.
Hey, you know what? Duct tape fixes everything. And let's see here. Okay, that was Brandon. Yes, guys. As you see my comment in the or like my pinned comment in the comic section, just in case if y'all did not see the post, we are doing the $25 Amazon gift card. We are not going to do the spin tonight because again, there's over 40 plus movies, and we want to make sure we get to them. So I'm going to do that drawing tomorrow and release that during the day. But if you haven't seen the post in this comic section right here, kind of like what Brendan and Rosie did already, if you just mention your favorite Halloween holiday memory, you would be entered on the drawing for a chance at a $25 Amazon gift card that Destiny is happy to provide for us. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's coming out of mine. So I wouldn't do that. Plus, I got to pay for the time that Destiny is here. And luckily, she's just been so nice to me and giving me an extra hour today.
You still owe me that 10. I remember. I'm remembering.
Anyways, we're gonna move on. I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. I'll owe you that. God, there's a lot of things I owe you here lately. I am not doing a good job. But guys, let's go ahead and get started. Just in case if you're brand new here, this is Back from the Dead, where we celebrate the horror movie anniversaries. But we're only doing it in like the integrals of 5 because trust me, if we try to do it all at once, we will be here forever. Especially in October. By the time we get done with October, if we did all of them, Halloween would have already come and gone. And I know Destiny would kick my ass if she were to miss holiday because of my shenanigans. So, again, integrals of 5. So anything ending in the year of 3 and 8, we are going to cover, along with last year's releases as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Destiny, did you have anything below the 70s except for that one big movie? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the first big movie of the evening. And also to note, if you are a Halloween fan, this is a stream for you, just to go ahead and throw it out here. So our first one is Night of the Living Night of the Living Dead. Shit.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
haven't been drinking, so this is not a good start. Night of the Living Dead, George Romero's classic, released on October the 4th of 1968. Plenty of streams to find this. So, Desi, what do you think about the all-time classic zombie movie, or really the beginning of all zombie movies?
I mean, I think it's great. It's definitely the first that sort of made like zombies what we know them as today. Because there was like zombies before, but I think it was more like voodoo stuff. And so this is the first sort of like the dead coming back to life and stuff. And I think it holds up very well. Besides, okay, I haven't seen the remake or not the. Is it the
The
remake of this?
1991.
Oh wait, yeah,
Yeah,
I
with
haven't
Tony
seen
Todd.
that.
Mhm.
Because I think the way Barbara's like handled in this movie is so like of the time that it's kind of like frustrating. So I haven't seen the 90s remake, but I think I know Barbara is definitely more of like a Sarah Connor type,
Mhm.
like I guess Final Girl, or if she I don't know, haven't seen it. So, but besides that, I think the rest of the movie holds up, and there's stuff to look beneath the surface, even though at the time that's not what they're going for, but you can't help but like see it in that lens now. But I
Mhm.
think it's great. It's not my favorite zombie movie, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely at least like in my top 5 because I do think it is great for a reason.
No, absolutely. Because again, like this is the beginning of all zombie movies right here. When we're actually trying to learn what kind of like zombies are, like the rules of the zombie, like this is the one that kind of began it. And then over the times, like it has developed new rules or just new looks to zombies. And I know we've talked about this plenty of times, but just as a reminder, are you a slow zombie person or are you a fast zombie person?
I am a fast zombie person. This is
Same.
the one that I would like. This is my exception though. I do think the zombies work very well in this because there's something like extra like haunting, and that could just because it's like in black and white and the makeup is so simple, but it
Hmm.
works so well for this. But typically though, fast zombie like Train to Busan is my
Yes.
favorite zombie movie.
Mine too. Mine too, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I bawled just a little bit at the end of Train to Busan. So if you have not seen Train to Busan, guys, in the chat, I know Desi would agree with me. Highly, highly suggest you all check out Train to Busan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great, but really
and
sad.
oh yeah, extremely sad. And yeah, and last actually two things I want to address with this movie real quick. First off, the little girl that kills her own mother with the little like what do you call that gardening tool?
um
Like a little shovel or
yeah, it's like a pointed type, not a shovel but like it digs.
yeah, we're gonna just call it a
Yeah,
dig. So the
the thing.
dig thing, that's very unusual to a zombies to do that. Like, are you a fan of like a zombie doing that, or like are you just classic like zombie just not all there in the head and then they just want brains?
um I kind of like it. I think it works for this movie because again, like that's her own like parents that she's killing, and it's set like the
Hmm.
the way it's shot and the noise like cutting in and out. Like it is some like these zombies I would say are sort of like smarter. They're not just like mindlessly roaming around. A lot of them
Hmm.
do, and like a lot of those sort of where like everyone's a zombie, there's just like roaming around. But this one, I feel like they are a little bit smarter, and so I think it works for this. I do like
Okay,
when a zombie is more than just
just like
like yeah.
yeah.
I like when they're like actually like in Return of the Living Dead, like it's kind of hokey, but they're like send more cops. Like they know to
More
do that, even though
cops.
it's silly, but I like that they are smarter. They know how to get more food.
No, exactly. And Gavin, be nice. Is it really call a hoe? Like, if
I
it is, that because I
So
do know
hold
there's a
on.
gardening tool.
Well, I do know there's a hoe, but I don't know if that. I thought a hoe. It's a digging blade because I found this, and this is pretty similar, I would say, to
Yeah,
like what it
I would
was.
say, yeah. So
It's a
we'll
digging
just call
blade.
it that.
I think a hoe is like it kind of looks like a rake, but it's like
Oh, it's the
this.
one like Michael used to kill that one guy in Halloween 5.
Yeah, like one of those things. Yeah,
Yeah,
where it's
Brad
like,
almost killed me with one of those things in a skit before, so I don't miss that gardening tool very much. And the last thing I want to get, it's a trowel,
trowel.
BrettMan, trowel, trowel. All right, so it's going to be a trowel, and I'm glad the little girl's not coming at me. And Gavin admit that he's a hoe, so appreciate Gavin for admitting it. I know it took a lot out of you to admit that.
Yeah, that looks like what it is. Because that's like sharper.
Mm-hmm. I bet
Oh,
that hurt. Oh yeah, well, except for that one,
good for
like,
that. We don't know what
God,
that
you
was.
got a dark mind. But no, and lastly, Evan, first off, Evil Alex, how are you doing? And I saw Robert the Wolfman in the chat too. So Robert the Wolfman, how are you doing? And the last question, the controversial ending, yay or nay on that?
I mean, it's like it's controversial like how do you say it, retrospectively, because like at
Yes.
the time George A. Romero said like they just hired or they casted the best actor and
Mm-hmm.
that was it. And so it's not like they were trying to go for anything, that was just the ending.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said earlier, you can't help but see it in like a certain lens. So I think it again, like it works for this movie because, and it just shows like they've been setting up from the beginning, like no one is safe. Like you might expect Barbara to live watching it now, like in these times, because
Mm-hmm.
there's usually like a final girl, or you're expecting at least one person to live, and it's completely devastating when he dies.
Mm-hmm.
It's so upsetting because you really think he's gonna make it out. He's done all this work and he's like done everything not necessarily right. He did slap Barbara. She was a little bit out of it, but he did slap the fuck out of her.
Well,
Okay.
well, there's a like it's like you gotta calm down, and again during that time,
Maybe a lighter slap.
supposedly that's the right thing to do, but obviously nowadays that's absolutely not. Like you would get
No.
in big trouble if you did that, even during a zombie apocalypse. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Now
what the
we're
fuck?
fighting.
Yeah.
Now we have to fight. But yeah, I think without that ending, like the movie wouldn't really just pack the punch. Like it
Hmm.
wouldn't. I feel like the movie would just be it would be different. Maybe it wouldn't be so. I mean, it would have been well known because it was like sort of the first of its kind, but the
Hmm.
ending just like always leaves this like feeling of just like nothingness every time I watch it. Even though you know it's coming and you just are hoping for the outcome to be different. First, like
Right.
somehow you think maybe this time it's gonna end a different way because you feel so hopeful just for it to immediately just be like, what the fuck? And I knew that ending going into the movie before I watched it because I didn't watch this until like 2021. So I knew going into the whole time I was like, "Fuck, he's gonna
Yeah, but
die.
I
He's
bet
gonna
you didn't
die."
know all the shit that he had to go through, like dealing with other people's bullshit, dealing with zombies. So, like, you
No,
kind of felt like sympathetic towards him at the end. It's like, damn, he really didn't deserve that.
yeah. So I mean, it definitely it packs a punch, and
Hmm.
it hurts every time. But it's so well done that I think if it wasn't there, the movie, because you don't want to see him die, but that's what
No.
sucks about it. You don't want to see him to die, and he does. But it also the whole time set up that no one's safe and anyone can go. They killed a little girl.
Hmm.
No one is safe here. So yeah, I think it definitely works.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. It definitely works for its time. If you try to do it today, I'm pretty sure your movie will not be published. Possibly, but again, it's movies, so like it all really just depends. We kind of live in an iffy world, but during those 60 times, I found it okay, just because again, like you said, it was mainly based off the story. It wasn't based off the color. So I definitely agree with you. So, anything else from the let's see here, Night of the Living Dead?
I think it's great. Love it.
All right, and I agree with you. I think it's a classic. I love it. Like you, it's like in my top five, but it's not my number one. Let's see here, just making sure. I think we are good on the comic section. Even though I'm sure I saw Gavin said earlier that he preferred the '90s one over the '61, so that's very interesting. So let's
Yeah, I've
see.
heard some people do because I think it's more like actiony.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's the right thing to do with being a remake in the '90s. So I definitely will have it on my watch list. But I'm not like in a rush to go watch it.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, all right. Did you have anything from '73?
No.
Okay, so let's go into 78. And before we talk about the obvious big one of 78, have you ever heard about Attack of the Killer Tomatoes Destiny?
I have heard about it. I have not watched it, but one of the podcasts I listened to, they covered it, and so I listened to the episode about the movie because this isn't a movie I'm necessarily rushing to watch. I've kind of like, I would say, in like whenever I first joined Killer Flicks and around that time, like I was super into like super cheesy bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I still am, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I've kind of grown out of that sort of stage to where like I like to watch now like more, I don't want to say like pristine, but like cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
like newer. I've kind of haven't gone back to too many of like the 80s movies besides this past Halloween because I did have to show Brayden like a lot of these like
Yes, she did.
random ass 80s movies. So I've kind of strayed away from those type of movies. Maybe at some point I'll watch it with some drinks
Mm-hmm.
and a
And
group
I
of people.
and I feel like that's the best way to watch it. Gavin says she looks like she was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. And I will go and say, again, I'm not in the rush to watch this movie. I'll give it a watch in the future, but I guess me and Destiny better catch up.
Oh my god, I can't deal with y'all.
Yeah, sorry. I was saving that joke ever since I saw this movie. We were going to talk about it, but okay, let's talk about why mostly everybody is here. Let's do it. The classic John Carpenter's Halloween, 45 amazing year anniversary of this classic movie that just defined all things that is in terms of the slasher genre. So, Destiny, I know, again, we could go an hour based off this movie alone, but we won't do that. So, Destiny, what do you think about this internal, like, immortal classic?
I mean, it's one of my all-time favorite, not just horror movies, but movies in general. I think it still holds up and it's such like it's kind of like Night of the Living Dead. Like you like while making it they weren't like expecting something crazy to happen, but it did and it like just
Mm-hmm.
launched and it went crazy. And I think that's amazing because what they were able to do was such a low budget and like literally it was like lightning in a bottle. And still watching it now, like some parts are a little bit like you can kind of see like the seams that I didn't notice as a kid, but I still think it's great. And every time I watch it, it just brings me back to like whenever I was a kid and would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. And it spawned a pretty interesting franchise, which I love. It's this and
Mm-hmm.
Scream. I say it all the time. These are my two favorite franchises. And so like I'm here for the good and I'm here for the bad. But the original is definitely, in my opinion, the best.
Oh, hey, at least for tonight, we're going to talk about at least one bad Halloween movie, while the other ones are really damn like good entries of it. So we're going to get into the good parts of Halloween. I agree, though. This movie is just like if there's a Mount Rushmore for horror movies, I understand why this is a part of that Mount Rushmore. For me personally, it's not, and I'll be even more honest. And I even made this controversial tweet. And yes, I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm not like calling it X. It's bullshit. But I did a tweet yesterday where I finally decided to declare I like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 more than the classic Halloween from '78. I know that's a big thing to say, but and I'm sure I will do a video in the future on why that is. There's a lot to cover tonight, so I won't get that much into it. But I respect the hell out of '78, and I guess the one main thing from '78 why I feel that way is comes to the latest rewatch. I just can't fucking stand any brackets with the what Nancy Loomis. I know it's not Nancy Loomis's fault because I'm sure she just said, "Hey, do it this way," but I just absolutely hate what they did with any bracket. Are you the same way, or am I just like it's just I'm far out there?
See, like Andy's never been my favorite, but really like I prefer the trio from Rob Zombie's Halloween because, like I've said, like
Mm-hmm.
that feels like more of like me and my friends, and it's also just a complete different time than the '70s from 2007. So obviously, like these people closer to my age and what we're living in now are going to be more like me.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's there's nothing that I necessarily dislike about them personally. It's just I don't think they're bringing anything for me to like like Linda's probably my favorite
Hmm.
because like I feel like Linda at least has like some character to her. Like she has something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
maybe that's just PJ Souls.
No, no,
She just has
it's
like
definitely
a
the PJ
heart.
Souls effect because, like, have you ever or met her in real life, like in the con?
No.
Because first off, I highly suggest it because she definitely still has that bubbly personality like she did in '78. But like, so I call it the PJ Soul effect. That's why I call it for people who love PJ Souls. And again, rightfully so. I prefer that Linda over the Linda from Rob Zombie's Howling, even though the Linda from Rob Zombie's Howling, she's gorgeous. But I just felt like they didn't give her much to do. Like let her be like a character within her own right. But other than like the Annie bracket, everyone else in the classic Halloween '78 is perfect character wise.
Yeah, I do like them. They're just like they've never really nothing's ever really stuck out for me like anything that's like, oh, I don't like that or whatever. They're
Mm-hmm.
just fine to me. They just seem just like they're like just people.
Right.
But like, I don't know. Like it's a good and a bad thing because they do just look like normal people, which I do like. And that's something I do miss actually like watching older movies is like everyone just like looks like a person.
Mm-hmm.
Now people just like look a certain way and it's kind of like weird. But I do miss when people just look like people.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And plus, it
even
brings a realism to it too.
yeah. And that hey, there's something with the movie coming up later that you're talking about realism that really was taking me out of a certain movie.
Uh-oh, but you need to let me know exactly what that movie is because I'm curious now.
What?
But everybody hates me in the chat, so I'm gonna leave Halloween alone. Do you have any other last words about Halloween?
I think, like I said about Night of the Living Dead, I think it's great for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it really honed in the sort of slasher sort of formula. It wasn't obviously the first to do it, but it really sort of like created that sort of like
Like the
slasher, like
craze.
yeah, because they
Mm-hmm.
saw this and then Friday the 13th, and then just a domino effect of the movies that were created because this was made. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No,
Without it,
I
we wouldn't have a lot of movies.
exactly. So again, that's why I will always respect Halloween, but it's like my personal favorite. Honestly, not anymore. Like again, I did the Fright Fight tournament. I released my ranking of the 64 movies I watch. I put Halloween at 25 out of the 64. So yeah, y'all take that what you will. So again, I'm gonna be nice to Halloween and we're just gonna move on before I get myself in trouble and Brad will have to hurt me. So did you have anything else from the 70s? And she is judging
No.
me really difficult, really hard right now. So, oh. So, let's move on here. So, let's go to 83. And I have two movies. I found this one lately, all because of one of the other topics we'll talk about tonight of Eli Roth's History of Horror. And I found this movie and I looked it up and it had the release date. So, we're going to talk about it if we've seen it. I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure about you. And that is The Dead Zone, released on October the 21st of 1983. Destiny, have you seen this one?
No, that one is on my watch list.
Yeah, and after how Eli Roth's history of horror has talked about this movie, is definitely on my watch list now. So we'll go ahead and just acknowledge it has an anniversary this year. But let's go to the movie that Destiny assigned me to watch because if there's a movie we have not seen, we make the other person watch it. And the one Destiny had me watch was a little movie called Possession, released on it was released in the 70s, but it kind of like had a big re-release in 83. So that's why I consider it a big anniversary this year. October 28th of 1983, which was yesterday. It is currently on Shudder if you are interested. And first thing I can say is, yeah, this was a very interesting movie. I feel like it shouldn't have been 10, or I was about to say 10 hours, like no way. 2 hours. It's a 2 hour, 4 minute movie. I feel like they could have cut some of it out. But I could just firstly say already, Sam Neill, terrific actor. And I don't know the girl's name off the top of my head, but I thought she was fantastic as well. And they had such a great chemistry with each other. Like, even though what's happening with the story, it took me a while to figure out what the hell was going on. But just seeing those two the actor and the actress just act their asses off was just enough for me to continue watching, just because I was in such an amazement. Like, God, these people, they are great at whatever they were decided given to do in this movie. But seeing and I was not expecting the creature, so that was a big what the fuck for me moment. Like, and I didn't know what to explain in the ending. I'm not the smartest movie viewer, so I was confused about the ending, but I love the acting. So I easily gave this morning, from the acting alone, a 4 out of 5. Destiny, I know I think you were introduced to this movie earlier on this year, if I'm guessing that correctly. So what were your first thoughts about Possession, and how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, so I watched it in, I think it was January of this year or something, because it was added to Shudder.
Hmm.
And this is a movie I had heard about like a while ago, but it wasn't streaming anywhere. And so I was like, okay, like I'll just like wait. And then it was added to Shudder, so I was like, I need to watch this just in case it's only on here for like a month or something. And so I watched it, and the only kind of part I knew about is like I knew what the main actress looked like. I
Hmm.
didn't know Sam Neill was in it. I knew what she looked like, and I had seen a part of her in like the subway scene, and so that's all I knew
Yes.
going into it. So I was like, it was pretty much like it's a fresh watch. I had no idea what it was about or anything. Um, and I remember like watching it, and I was like, this is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. And so I took videos that I sent to Brayden of me watching it, just being like, what is going on? And I remember this is not a movie you want to watch if there's people around you,
Hmm.
because they will think you're watching porn, and you're not. It's just like bad shit is like like she's screaming, and she's like, it's all crazy, and it's just like, oh my god, you have to turn it down a little bit because you're like, but then they showed it on the last drive-in, so I watched
Hmm.
it again this year for the last drive-in, and I enjoyed it more the second time. I think the first time, which I gave it either 4 or 4.5. I think it was a 4 at first.
Hmm.
So I still very much enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, that was pretty wild, and like I didn't know necessarily what was happening either. I was like, what is going on? Because you can kind of guess a part is going on, but until you actually see what's going on, you're right, but you're still wrong because
That's
it's just
how I
like,
was.
what the fuck is that? But the ending, yeah, is very, very strange. The whole movie is very strange, but it's very memorable.
Hmm.
There's so many parts of this movie like I will never forget. And I think, like you said, they both are doing so great, especially so I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but her first name's Isabel. So
Hmm.
she is wonderful in this movie. And I think this movie kind of caused her to like not act as much, or to kind of like stray away from acting. Because
Hmm.
she really goes through a lot in this movie. Like it is crazy. It's like it's unlike any possession movie I've seen before. It
Hmm.
definitely sticks with you. So yeah.
Yeah, no, like literally, it does stick with you, along with that creature sticking with her. And yeah, seeing that scene towards the end of the movie, I had to I even paused it for a moment, going, "What the fuck did I just watch?" In a good way, folks, just because I was not expecting that particular scene to happen. But no, I had a really good time with it, and I'm glad you had me pick this movie to watch for it, because I was very entertained. Just because mainly I just wanted to know what the hell was going on, even though I still didn't get what was going on, but I loved everybody's performances in this movie.
Yeah, this is definitely one I want to make Brayden watch at some point.
Oh my god, please! Like you all got to do like a Fear Freaks one on that. We all got to see his reaction, because I bet it'll be priceless.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. Because he would, I know he's just gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?" And I'd be like, "I
Hmm.
don't know,"
Yeah,
but it's
or
it's my
you
third time
interpret
watching,
it.
and I don't know.
Yeah, you interpret it. Like, your guess is better than mine. So,
Yeah, but it's
and
definitely one people should at least watch once. That might be,
mhm.
all you could do with it. It's definitely a lot, but I do like it.
Yeah, no, it's no. Again, like I can see why a lot of people like it. Has like it had an extremely high on Letterboxd score of like a 4.1. So like I get why people liked it easily. And Brooke, what's going on there? Saying, "Hey, Brett, hey, Destiny."
Hi, Brett.
So and let's see here. And yes, I agree. Sam Neill hella underrated in horror. No, absolutely. I kind of wish he did more horror movies. Even though he did get chased around by a dinosaur, so I think he had his fair share of time in the horror genre for sure. So let's see here. That is all I had in 83. Did you have anything else from 83?
Nope, that was it.
Awesome. We are doing very great. So let's go ahead and go to 88, where I have two classic sequels within its own franchises here. The first one, oh, look at that. Another Halloween movie. But this time it is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, released on October the 21st of 88. You can watch this on Shudder right now. If you're interested, definitely one of the best sequels within this franchise. And the other one within its own short franchise, but it's in my opinion, a good sequel. Is Sleepaway Camp 2 Unhappy Campers. It had a limited release on October the 28th of 1988. And if you're curious to check this out, it is on Prime Video and Tubi. So, Destiny, what do you think about both of these movies of Halloween 4 and Sleepaway Camp 2?
Halloween 4 is one of my favorite movies in the franchise. I absolutely love Halloween 4. It's one that I watched a lot as a kid, 4 and 5 especially.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it before, it's just because it was so cool to see a little girl in a horror movie, especially in Halloween, which was my favorite, like as a kid. So you had like a little girl like me running around from Michael Myers. Like I thought that was so cool. So I absolutely love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the atmosphere is great. The opening is so good. Um, I think Danielle Harris does such an amazing job in this movie. She's so young and she's absolutely just killing it. So I think Halloween 4 is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best Halloween movies.
Mm-hmm. No,
And
I
just like one of
definitely.
my go-to comfort movies in the franchise.
No, I definitely agree with you. Halloween 4, I have it as my number 3 within my franchise ranking. Absolutely love. It's mainly again, like you say, you love Danielle Harris and Jamie Lloyd. I loved Rachel's character in this because it had a great character arc in this. Like spoiled daughter brat into a one that actually cares about her foster sister at the end of the movie, willing to give up her own life. Like it's a great 180 from beginning to end. We got memorable characters like fuck off Wade. We got him. We got Brady. We got Kelly, is that her name? Kelly Meeker? Yeah, Kelly Meeker, which Sheriff Meeker, definitely one of my favorite sheriffs in any horror movie. We get an awesome return of Dr. Loomis and him coming back, just banger after banger of great lines. We get the freaking the Rev scene in the car. There's so many great scenes in this movie. But mainly I got asked, and someone already brought up already, not a fan of the mask or shoulder pads, but has great mood and atmosphere, which I absolutely agree with the second part of that. But the first part, the mask is starting to grow on me a little bit. So, what about you? Are you a fan of the mask, or are you a fan of the theory, which I am too, of the bandage look?
Um, Personally, just like from watching these like as a kid, even though like I noticed they look different, and even in like 5, that looks so different. Like I know they look different, but like I didn't care because like that's still Michael Myers. Like he looks wonky, it's still Michael Myers, and I kind of still feel the same way. Like no matter what movie I'm watching, no matter how off the Michael Myers looks, I don't care necessarily because it's still Michael Myers to me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a newer movie and he looks bad, that's different because like it's new. But this, it's something like it didn't stick out to me as a kid. It doesn't really stick out to me now. Like I could just ignore that part.
Mm-hmm.
My
Even
brain just
and
like
even
blocks
his
it out.
blondness.
I didn't even know it as a kid. As a kid, I was just like, okay, didn't even notice that. I didn't notice the CGI mask in H2O until I joined Killer Flicks. And so I've been watching this for almost my whole life, and I'm just like, looks good to me. So if I didn't notice that stuff back then, like it just right over my head, just whatever. Because to me, no matter what, that's still Michael Myers. But now when
Mhm.
he looks cool, that's different because I'm like, oh wow, he looks really good. But I think it's because I was just so used to wonky Michael Myers if it wasn't the original, or at this point, if it wasn't Tyler Mane, because this is before like the new trilogy to where he looks
Mhm.
really good. But so yeah, I don't I don't care. I do like the bandage look though. I
Yes.
don't know how I would have felt if it was the whole time though. I do like that we get the mask back, even if it's again a little off, but whatever.
But you did say the best thing, and I never thought about it before. It don't matter what kind of mask you put on him, like a CGI, a bandage. Michael Myers is still Michael Myers, just based off his presence alone. Which I never really thought about that before until you started to like just go into detail about that, and I think that's absolutely an excellent point. Yeah, he had a lot of different looks, but it's still the same Michael Myers in his persona, all, like throughout the entirety of this franchise. Really, honestly, the one of the most like consistent things within this franchise, if such a word existed in this franchise, is consistency. That would be it. Is Michael Myers being just again just the face of evil.
Yeah, unless you
Hmm.
watch the third one.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, because he ain't
And
in
if
the
you
third
watch
one.
Halloween Ends.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and we will get to that one because I've been hearing Brad talk about it nonstop all week for some reason. So damn it, Brad. And then what about Sleepaway Camp 2? Because I know you're a big Sleepaway Camp fan of the original. Which don't worry, guys, we will get to that movie next month. But what about the second one? Did you have a fun time with it?
Yes, I've only watched this one time, and it was a couple of years ago, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great time. I would definitely watch it again. I just haven't gotten back around to it, but maybe this upcoming summer I will. But I think it's a fun time. It's very different, but in a way still the same because like the first one, they play it straightforward and it makes it silly. But in the second one, they know it's silly and they're playing it silly. So they're
Hmm.
both silly, but in their own rights. Um, so it just depends on like what kind of mood you want. Do you want something that's like ironically funny, or do you want something that's straightforward, but trying to be funny?
Hmm.
And I think it's great. Um, the Angela is completely different, but I still
Yes.
think she does a great job as her. She's not Felissa Rose, but she's not trying to be either. And so I do like that they
Hmm.
took it in its own direction and that she's much more like outgoing and out there. What's is it Pamela Springsteen, I think? I don't know if that's
Yes,
her first
correct.
name.
No, that's actually
Um,
correct. Yes.
cool. So yeah, I think she does a great job with it. It's just silly, it's funny, it's like it's meta too. They are talking about like slasher killers, and there's like this whole gag, and even on like the poster where she's holding
Yep.
it, you see like a hockey
Getting ready
mask
to
and
bring
like
it back
raised
up.
up. Exactly. So it in a way it's also meta. So I think it's pretty good. It's pretty funny. I like it. The third one though, different story.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
haven't even seen the third one fully. I had to stop it because I was like, oh no. But yeah, that the second one's a good time.
well. I'll tell you this about the third one. Good call for stopping it because it's just to me it was missing what the first and the second one had. Like it's been a while since I've seen it, but like it's just one I'm not going to go back to. But like you, I definitely want to go back to Sleepaway Camp 2 because I've only seen it once. But it's still like I remember that movie like I watched it yesterday. With
Mhm.
a many because it had a lot of fun and interesting kills like the flagpole. Of course, we get like the shit death, like because God, what a way to go if you're gonna go. And then just again the batshit crazy ending as well. So this movie just like you said, it knew what it was and it didn't shy away from it and it just went for it. And I love when movies do that when they know what they are and they just go for it. I still prefer the first one, obviously, for obvious reasons, but the second one, I think it could say successful sequel. And it's sad again, Felissa Rose wasn't a part of this. It's unfortunate she didn't get. I don't help me remind me. She didn't get asked to be in the second one. Is that right?
No, apparently she did. she's also going off to college, and she also read the
That's it.
script, and she felt like that wasn't like the Angela, like she felt like that wasn't her as Angela, so she didn't think
Hmm.
like she was the best part for the role, and she was going to college anyway, so
Hmm.
she said no.
And yeah, well, again, it didn't need her, but it would have been fun to like have her at least. It's just kind of be interesting to see what she would do. But again, like you said, Pamela, she did a great job for making her character her own side version of oh my gosh, Angela. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sleepaway Camp 2, if you have not seen it, I suggest give it a watch. So is that all? Let's see here. Do you have anything else from 88?
I have one movie which the release dates are like all over the place.
Oh
So
yeah.
who actually knows? But it's Black Roses, which I have seen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the movie that was
Let's
shown
drive
on the
in.
last drive-in. It was a pretty fun movie. It was like a sort of rock and roll type horror movie, and I love when horror movies combine those. So
Mm-hmm.
Black Roses, if you haven't seen it, it might still be on Shudder. Who knows? But I think it's also usually like on Tubi. But I definitely think it's worth the check out because I
Mm-hmm.
probably wouldn't have watched it because I had never heard of this movie until the last drive-in. And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh, interesting. And I watched it and I thought it was a pretty fun time.
Mm-hmm. No, it was definitely a good time. A great score to it. Like the music, and definitely, I will say this because my VHS store actually has the VHS copy of Black Roses, and it had the cool design on the front where like you can run your fingers through it and you can feel the bumps of the picture like popping out at you. Fortunately, is over $100, and my wallet says fuck
Yeah.
that. Even though if I had all the money in the world, I would buy it immediately, just because it's one of the badass VHS covers I've ever seen.
Yeah, I really do like the cover for it. That doesn't surprise me. It's that much though.
Yeah, I even asked you, it's like, do you have $100 for me to buy this? you and you're like, I wish, but
Yeah.
no, I'm with you, Fo. Black Roses, absolutely give it a watch, and I'm pretty sure it is on Tubi because Tubi and Shudder kind of like have like a deal with each other. That if it's on Shudder, it's on Tubi. If it's on Tubi, more than likely it's on Shudder. It all really depends on what the movie is. Was that it for 88?
Yes.
Excellent. And two more people entered our chat here. Fenderhoff, what's going on? Looking forward to the stream. Thank you so much. And we got Lamantra is here too. What's going on there, Lamantra? Let's see here. Here, man, let me check my notes here. Okay, perfect. So let's go. Oh my gosh, I even have two more from 88, so I really screwed the pooch on that one. So let's talk about these two real quick. This one being the little like mini series. I think this is what it's called. It's Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy's Nightmares. It started on October the 9th of 88. Not the best reviews ever. I have not seen much of this. Destiny, have you seen any of this? Like, except for the documentary of Never Sleep Again?
No, that's really all I've seen. Well, whenever we were at like the Alamo Draft House, one of the TVs was definitely playing it because I was like, that's Freddy Krueger. I don't really recognize this. And I was like kind of watching it a little bit and I was like, this is definitely Freddy's Nightmares. But
Mm-hmm.
couldn't hear it at all. So I was just watching the screen. So I don't know what was going on. So besides what I've seen in the documentary and that tiny bit, I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think I was like on Screambox, or it was maybe not Screambox. It was on a streaming service, like a horror one, like a random one that I hadn't heard of, and I was like, "What is this?" But I never subscribed to it, so
Well, hopefully
yeah,
one day we can get it, especially if that stupid Nightmare on Elm Street collector box set, when they do a new one, they can include it. That would be very much appreciated because again, they owe us for taking this long for coming out with an awesome box set. But yeah, if I see it on a streaming service in the future, I would definitely just dip my toes in it to see if I'll be down to watch it. And then the other one I had, and shame on me for this because this movie is so much fun. It's Night of the Demons, released on October 14th of 88. Shudder, Tubi, and Peacock. And yeah, first off, this movie is absolutely fun, fantastic. The costume designs and the practical effects and all that were great, especially putting the lipstick into the breast, because that was very interesting. But the practical effect work is absolutely terrific for it, and it's been a while since I've watched it, but I just remember having a good time with it. Are you the same? Do you like Night of the Demons?
Yeah, so I did have this on my list. This is another movie that has like weird release dates for
It
like
does.
every month towards the end. I think this one is so much fun. This is one that I did have Brayden watch in October because he hadn't seen it. And I was just like waiting for those moments, and especially the Linnea Quigley scene. I was like
Yes.
watching, and he was like, looked at me, he was like, so what's going on? I was like, just what? Look at the screen because she's got the lipstick in her
Like,
nipple. So look at the screen.
it's like, you're a
'Cause it's
dude. Watch the
crazy.
screen. What are you
Yeah, I'm
doing?
like, look at the screen. Look how crazy this is. But the movie, it's so much fun. It's definitely a great movie to watch during October. I didn't
Hmm.
get to last year, so I wanted to make sure I did this year. Um, I love it. It's such a great time. I've seen the remake. I haven't seen 2 or 3. I do want to eventually.
I think
Um,
they showed the second one on Joe Bob's Halloween event, didn't they? I know
I don't
you
know
were
if it was the
gone during
second
that
one or if
time,
it
but
was the first one.
I want to help me out, chat. Was it the first one or the second one? I was pretty sure it was the second one, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was the first one because the first one is just so much fun. I need to check out the second one, but I heard the third one's atrocious.
Yeah, I heard the second one's good. I heard the third one's not good. Yeah, I'm behind on Joe Bob because I was gone for
Hmm. For good
both
reasons.
episodes.
Yeah, for good reasons, though. So, but yeah, I forgot to include those two in 88, so I do apologize for that. And you said that was it for 88 on your list, correct?
Yeah, the only other thing, again, weird
Yeah, go for
dates.
it. Like they're not perfect.
Yeah,
I just mainly do mine now from IMBD. That's where I do most of mine now, but I understand they're all over the place. So go ahead and mention it.
I do have Pumpkinhead,
Hmm.
which I watched this one a couple years ago. I enjoyed it. It didn't quite jump out as much as I thought it would because it has Lance Hendrickson in it and the creature design is so cool. But the
Hmm.
story surrounding it wasn't like anything to stand out, like, But it is a good movie. It's one that I would like to rewatch at some point. I have it for maybe on my Christmas list for my mom because she's asked me what I want, and I saw the Blu-ray on Amazon, so I was like, because I don't
Hmm.
have it.
Oh, especially
So
yeah, that's a beautiful cover
yeah,
too.
I do like it enough to buy it. I think it's a good time
Hmm.
for the most part. Some of it's pretty sad.
Oh
Wasn't
yeah.
expecting going in for it to be as sad as it is. Um, but the parts that are more fun, really, actually, I take it back. There's not a lot of fun in this movie.
Yeah, I was about to
There's
say
no
it's like
adventure.
the teens
It's fun
doing
because
their
it's like
thing.
B level horror movie. Like that's what's fun about it. But then it's not fun because the story is not fun. It's it's actually sad. Like it's not
Hmm.
like I'm crying, but I was just like, what the fuck? That's upsetting because you like these characters. So and it does its job, I think.
Hmm.
But it's just like the characters aren't strong enough. Besides Lance Hendrickson and his son, they're great. Your other characters, for the most part, they suck. Which you're
Yeah,
not supposed to like them. They're not good. Not a lot of them are not good people, but it's just like that's what you're watching.
No, the main thing I remember from Pumpkinhead is just a creature design work. It's absolutely like superb, and a lot. I've been to two cons already where the guy that did the display work of Pumpkinhead was there, and they had the actual like head of the Pumpkinhead, it like with them. I just didn't get a chance like to meet him because of just limited on time. And just want to make sure I met other people too. But for my memory, most of my memory of Pumpkinhead, I do really enjoy it. But I just gave it like a solid like 3 out of 5. Like it's good for like a 1 or 2 time watch. But other than that, just take with it as you want.
Yeah, I do think it's a good October watch. It
Hmm.
is called Pumpkinhead, but it's not like it's not
It
what
doesn't
you
look like a
would think.
pumpkin.
No, like I think the whole movie is just not what you think going into it. For a movie called Pumpkinhead, but I do think it is a good enough movie to watch. I would probably give it the same, like a 3 out of 5. Like it's
Hmm.
not bad, but it's nothing too great. But it is a good sort of just if
Hmm.
you just want to watch a sort of atmospheric little movie.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I also remember it has a steel book too that came out too. I'm not sure if you knew that or not. That a very cool looking steel book.
Hmm. No, I'll have to look.
So yeah, definitely check that out. Let's go ahead and go to 93 here. I got two from 93. Okay, checking my list, checking it twice. Okay, sorry, we're not into Christmas season yet, but the first movie, you mentioned Return of the Living Dead earlier. We have Return of the Living Dead 3, which since like you said, Killer Flicks, uh didn't even know this was a thing. But I've been hearing a lot of people really enjoying this movie. I haven't had gotten a chance to watch it yet, but I'll be honest, not really a big fan of the first Return of the Living Dead. I do need to give it a rewatch to see if my opinion changes on that. But what about you, Fo? Have you gotten a chance to see Return of the Living Dead 3?
Yes, and I do like this movie. It's very different from the first one. I haven't seen the second one, but this movie is very different from like the first one. It's more of like a love story. It's kind
Mm,
of in a way it's kind of like Bride of Reanimator, but not exactly that, but it like sort of is. But it's pretty good. It was definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be because I would always see Lee talk about it in Killer Flicks, and I found the DVD at one of my conventions, and so I got it and then I watched it, and I was like, wow, that's a really good movie.
mm.
It's a good movie to watch during like February because it's all about like love.
Okay.
It's a
Uh,
it's a bit of like a Romeo and Juliet type in a way also. So there's like touches of a bunch of different things combined into one.
yeah. And when I saw this, it kind of actually, like the way you're describing it, it kind of reminds me in a way of a comparison, like between Return of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead 3, kind of like the original Prom Night and Prom Night 2, Mary Lou. Is that kind of like a similar comparison of just like different movies within like the same kind of like, I wouldn't say franchise. I don't think they're big enough to be considered franchises, but you know what, like you know what I'm talking about. Is that kind of like a fair comparison?
Well, with that movie, that's like a completely different genre. Like this
Mhm.
is still the same, like it is still about like zombies, but not anywhere on the scale of how the first one is. The first one they're everywhere and they're like running around everywhere. Yeah, or like warm
Mhm.
bodies. In a way, yeah, that too, to where one person is like a zombie. Or
Yeah.
they're
And
like a reanimated. Because like with her, like I would say like she is a zombie, but not the typical like decaying, like sort of like brainless zombie.
or she
Definitely
ain't
like a
gonna ask
reanimated
for more
person.
cops.
No, she has more than that.
uh, hell yeah. And yeah, with that, your seal of approval right there. I will add the Return to Living Dead 3 to my watch list. And am gonna watch the excuse me, the original again because it's been a while, and I just wasn't crazy on the first time of Return of the Living Dead. So I will add both of them back onto my watch lists in the future here. And let's see here, Armando, what's going on there, Armando? Hopefully everything is going well. And man, I'm ready to talk about this one because this one, I make it a goal every Halloween to watch this movie, and that is the Nightmare Before Christmas, release actually today. So today it's its big anniversary. So happy birthday, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It turned 30. It's going to turn, yeah, it turned 30 years old today. So wow, I feel freaking old. But man, this movie is just so damn classic, so much fun, so many memorable characters, and the songs of like, what's this? What's this? It's more than everywhere. Again, it's just so awesome. And then, of course, as one of my favorite underrated like Disney villains of all time, and one Mr. Oogie Boogie, with his freaking song and the way he's just displayed with the neon colors, it's just so memorable. And of course, Jack the Pumpkin King, freaking great character. Sally's a great character, and just seeing their relationship like bloom from beginning to end, it's great to watch and invest in. And just seeing all like the work that goes into this movie to make it what it is, with like just the behind the scenes stories, just well done. dumbass me thought Tim Burton directed this. That is absolutely not the case, but Tim Burton was a big inspiration behind this movie. So, Destiny, what about you? How do you love The Nightmare Before Christmas, and do you put this on your year, like kind of like your October watches? And let me add one more thing to it. Do you think this is the prime example of like this is both a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie?
Yeah, I do like it, and I do watch it every year, but I don't watch it for Halloween. I watch it for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's both. You can watch it like whenever, but for me personally, I feel like it leans more Christmas than Halloween. Because like that's what the whole movie is about, is him discovering Christmas. So I like to save it for December, not for October. And
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of times for Christmas, I have quite a few decorations that are A Nightmare Before Christmas. So I do very much enjoy it. I just like to save it for Christmas.
And I don't blame you because I save it for Christmas as well. I kind of watch it on Halloween and just during the Christmas season. I think
Mhm.
it's the perfect blend of both. And it also kind of proves too that you could combine two holiday like and plus it's the rivalry between Halloween and Christmas too that go head to head at each other. Because I've already been hearing that Christmas stuff has already been put out and we haven't gotten to damn Halloween yet. So Christmas, stay in your lane for a couple more days, please. But no, this movie just works in the realm of both worlds of both Halloween and Christmas, and I just love this movie so much.
Yes, I do too. And I'm one of those people. I don't care when there's Christmas stuff up during Halloween. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I don't care.
Wait,
I've already bought stuff for Christmas, like for decorations, and
wait,
I'm
what's
ready.
that? What's that? Anyways, we're not here to talk. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Say
I'm
I'll
joking.
press the freaking red button.
I know you would. I know you got that kind of power. So,
I love the holidays. I love this time of year from October all the way to the end of the year, and I love
hmm
Christmas. Halloween is my favorite, but Christmas just feels different. So
hmm
I'm
so
here
let me
for it.
guess. You're the person too that skips Thanksgiving and goes straight to Christmas, right?
I celebrate Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving.
But you're supposed
I'm
to
not
celebrate
celebrating like
Thanksgiving before Christmas.
what the fuck am I going to celebrate in November?
Thanksgiving, to be thankful for all the things that we have.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving.
But you could make a month out of it.
No.
Fine. Party pooper, but
I'm
no.
You're the party pooper. I'm enjoying my Christmas.
Okay. I guess I gotta keep being nice if I want to be on that nice list. So we'll just leave it at that. Nightmare Before Christmas, absolutely terrific. Except for where let's see here. Yeah, I know she always gets me for that. And then I don't hate you, but I've just never seen anybody that hates, or I just never met anybody that does not like Nightmare Before Christmas. But again, I love different opinions, so please let me know why you don't like this movie, because now I'm very curious. So let's see here. All right, that's all I got from '93. Did you have anything else to include for '93?
No.
All right. So let's go ahead and go to 98. And this was a fun year from horror too. We got four movies. And I want to save like the two really good ones here a little bit. But let's go to these ones. First one is Phantasm 4 Oblivion, which had a video release on October the 13th of 98. So if you're a fan of the Phantasm franchise, you can watch this on Tubi and Peacock. And the other movie is called Vampires, and this is on Netflix, and it has its big anniversary tomorrow. So, Destiny, have you seen any of these two movies?
No, I am not.
Okay. And I haven't seen them either, so I got nothing to add to them. I kind of figured that too, so that's why I wanted to go ahead and get them out of the way and just show them a little appreciation. But man, there's two big ones for this particular year in '98, and let's go ahead and go with the first one here. Bride of Chucky, released on October 16th of 1998, where Chucky gets another freaking slasher icon, and they become one of the most ultimate duos and best horror couples in the history of the horror genre. So, Destiny, what are your thoughts about Bride of Chucky?
I love Bride of Chucky. It is my favorite uh Chucky movie and the Child's Play franchise, I
Oh,
love
nice.
Tiffany more than Chucky personally. Because, like, Tiffany was like, as a kid, like, I just was obsessed with her. I loved her look. And I had blonde hair too. So I was like super happy about that, that I had the blonde hair and everything. So I love Bride of Chucky. I think the soundtrack is great. Just the
Hmm.
whole look of the movie is great. Like all the purples and there's like some pink thrown in there, and a lot of black, and I love that. So I think it's a great movie.
No, it's absolutely a great. It's just what we call a fun movie. I think it's just after kind of like the mixed reaction from the third one, they feel like they are like, we got to do something different. What freaking way to do something different than with this one right here, including another big time horror character in Tiffany. Just being freaking. You mentioned the word meta earlier. This movie definitely has its meta moments, especially at the opening scene in the police station where you see like the Friday the 13th mask and like all that goodies being locked up. And then other things too about this movie, it's Chucky just just like just crawling along. Like, did that fucking doll just flip me off? Like, just so many goofy moments. And of course, one of the big goofy moments is Chucky freaking getting the nails on that one guy and he just dies. He goes, I've seen that look before. Like all of it's just fantastic. Just so many great one-liners. Of course, the last one-liner being, "Wait, did you wear or have protection? Protection? Yeah, I'm made of rubber. Like, what do you like?" All of it's just freaking. I just love. I could quote that movie so much and many memorable kills. And Destiny. Last question about Bride of Chucky. What do you think about Martha Stewart?
Fuck Martha Stewart.
God, ain't that great? Like that's actually one of my favorite TikToks I ever did was like the fuck Martha Stewart. Here I am making Swedish meatballs, making cookie. Like, oh, it's so great. So let's see here. Oh, hello there. Freaking girl power here. Mail from My Killer Podcast. What's going on? Saying what's up, BrettMan and Destiny Girl.
Hi,
So what's
Mel.
so what's going on there, Mail? So let's see here. Okay, I'll get you here in a minute, Ashton. Anything else with Bride of Chucky?
Nope, love it.
All right, so we'll go ahead and go with the next one here. Another Disney classic, Halloween Town, which I've been on a Halloween Town like kick, which I've not watched Halloween Town, but I've watched the second and the third one because I didn't know there was one. It was like last year or 2 years ago is where I realized that there was more than one entry within Halloween Town. But definitely nothing beats the classic right here. I just love the whole like the stage design of the whole Halloween Town. Just instantly puts you in the freaking Halloween and fall mood. We get a just all these characters and or just having the time of their lives. Like even Calabar, like that actor, you could just tell he was having fun with what he was doing on screen. And of course, Debbie Reynolds, which is the mother of Carrie Fisher. I just love that lady to death. I just wish she was my grandmother. But overall, this movie is just an ultimate like just sit down with your family and just have a lot of fun while like doing jack-o'-lanterns or whatever family activity you got going on during the Halloween season. Destiny, what are your thoughts about Halloween Town?
I love Halloween Town. I didn't fully watch it the other day, so I didn't count it, but we did have it like on in the background because we're like setting up for a birthday party and stuff. It's definitely one I need to watch both of them. So I need to
Mhm.
do that like tomorrow because I'm not going to be able to Halloween Day, and I watch those every year, so I have to do that because there's a lot of movies I was not able to get to, but those two I at least need to watch. So have to do that tomorrow. But
Mhm.
I love Halloween Town, the first and the second one. I'm assuming I definitely grew up watching the other two, but I just don't remember them as much, and they're just not the like. I never feel the need to watch those two. I just watch the
Mhm.
first two every year, and it's
Yeah.
always back to back because you have to watch them back to back.
Mhm.
So I think they don't get me wrong, they're not very good, like actually not very good, but they're good for my child heart. So
Mhm.
that's all that matters. But looking at they're not good, especially the second one. There's some really awful moments in the second
Oh
one
my gosh, yeah.
that just stick out like a sore thumb. But if you just choose to ignore it like you did when you were a kid, it's
Hmm.
not bad. It's just nostalgic. Um, so yeah, I think they're very charming.
Hmm. Especially, yeah, especially the second one, and that's the only reason it gets saved, especially because you just love the characters because you were
Yeah.
so invested in them in the first one. And gosh, my invested in the first movie. But no, I agree with you. It was a rough watch. I felt like I was so out of focus, but then when my favorite characters get back on screen, I just am invested right back immediately, and I want them to be okay. But no, you're absolutely right, though. Ouch with the second one. And again, it's not their fault because again, they have to pertain to the kid audience and all that. But I'll even be honest, and I'll throw this last thing with Halloween Town. I think it could be a good idea to do like a new movie of Halloween Town where Kimberly Brown becomes the grandmother. To a new generation with her kids. So it's kind of like a requel, but not really a requel. It could be like just another sequel to the original in a way if you wanted to do that and just get a nice theater release for it. Are you? Do you like that idea, or do you just say let Halloween Town be Halloween Town?
I mean, as long as it's good, why not?
Yeah, that's why I
Like,
was thinking theater release, so it has to be good versus just being on TV. But we know how Disney is these days. But
yeah, I mean, if it's good, I wouldn't be like opposed to it as long as it's good. But those are definitely like more kid friendly than even Hocus Pocus was. Like Hocus
mm-hmm.
Pocus, like was different because it did gear towards adults as well. Like Halloween Town is definitely very like kid oriented. So I feel like it would be easier to get away with Halloween Town because it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be like it doesn't have to seem more censored because that's how like Hocus Pocus 2 felt was more like toned down from the first one. But this there's really not a whole lot that you have to like shy away from, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Exactly.
would be down.
Yeah, and I hope that in the future too. But again, I wouldn't mind another Hocus Pocus too, especially with how the second one ended. But it all depends because how they ended the second one is kind of confusing. But no, I love Halloween Town, so we'll go ahead and move on from that. Did you have anything else from '98?
No, that was it.
All right, so we are back down from the past. So let's enter the 2000s here, where I got three from the 2000s. And what is considered just a gosh awful movie. So we'll quickly go through this one and then just leave in the past two. This is House of the Dead, released on October the 10th of 2003. The only reason I even mentioned this is because they freaking promoted this movie like crazy on the USA Network. And I remember the trailer like for some reason by heart for all the stupid reason, but I've never seen this movie and I got no reason to watch this movie. So Disney, any interest with this movie?
I have no interest, but I remember the cover as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I definitely I agree. Good call. Let's go ahead and just skip this movie. So the next one, these two we'll talk about here. The first one being the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003. And one of the great remakes that a lot of people just have so much fun with. Mainly have fun with Jessica Biel. So I know you all very, very, very well. But this is a good remake. And then the other movie, a classic horror comedy, Scary Movie 3, where Cindy, this bitch is messing up my floor, released on October the 24th of 2003. And you can watch both of these movies on the Max right now. So, Destiny, what do you think about both of these movies?
I haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake in a while, but I do remember liking it whenever I was like a kid. Um, I'm very much due for a rewatch. Um, and then what was the second movie?
Scary Movie 3.
Scary Movie 3. Oh my god, that
Oh, you're
completely slipped
good.
my mind. I love Scary Movie 3. I watched that one a lot as a kid. That was definitely the one I probably watched the most as a kid, and it was my favorite, but now it's the original.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the third one, though, is so much fun. I love all the movies that they're making fun of. You have The Ring, which is like one of the biggest ones. You have Signs, which is just absolutely hilarious. I think some of the best moments of the franchise come from like the segments for Signs. You have the whole 8 Mile part, which is pretty funny and really bad. So you have a lot of great, memorable moments from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoyed it. I need to rewatch this one. I've seen the first and the second one recently, but I haven't watched the third one in a while.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I need to rewatch this third one too. Especially I got done watching The Ring for the first time, so I want to see other hidden jokes that Scary Movie 3 does with this film that I missed the first time. And I just again love all the jokes that this movie provides. Like the president was a perfect touch into the entry of the Scary Movie stuff. It's like one of these must be the aliens. Like, sir, how can you be sure? Just slowly move towards the exit. It's one of them. They're trying to get my mind. You'll never take me alive. Oh, again, it's just so perfect. Like just everything, especially it blows my mind to this day. Recently, remember Kevin Hart is actually in this movie. This was Kevin Hart before he became Kevin Hart, with him and Anthony. Oh gosh, what's his last name? The one that he wears the
Okay.
dreads. Yeah, wait, no, Anthony. No,
Or is
I'm
that his
calling
name?
him just Anthony. I know it'll kill
That
me
might be
once
his name
somebody.
in Scream 4.
Yeah.
Because I think he's Officer Perkins.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna call him Officer Perkins from Screen 4 because that's exactly who it is. But yeah, him and Kevin Hart, they're going back and forth with each other of like, man, how do you wake up dead? Or like, if a mouse is inside, it's a mouse, and if a mouse goes outside, it becomes a rat. Like all that is just terrific. I love Scary Movie 3 a lot.
Yeah, it's probably my second favorite. I don't know. I really like the first four, just not the fifth one.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fourth one, I love parts of it. There's really parts I'm like, I wish they never did that. But yeah, the first four Scary Movie movies are just terrific in their own right. I wish they would have just
Anthony
continued making it.
Anderson.
Yeah, thank you, Ashton. So yeah,
Yes.
that was the guy with the dreads, and oh no, it wasn't the third. I was thinking of the fourth one where they were doing the Brokeback Mountain of like, what are you doing, man? Relax,
Oh,
just try to
yeah.
grab me some nuts. God, I could quote that movie all night. So, and Fauci, what's going on, my friend? Fuck you. Hate the Broncos. But anyways, that's all I have from 2003. Did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
Okay, so we will go ahead and keep moving along. So let's see here. Just get those out of the way. All right, let's see here. We got a ton. This is the part where it just gets a ton. So I'll just go two at a time. If you've seen it, we'll talk about it. If not, we'll just go to the next one. So this first one, actually from 2008, is the one I had you choose to watch, and that is a movie called Quarantine. Which, if you're wondering what Quarantine is pretty much the American copycat of the other movie we will talk about, and that is Wreck. Both of these had a release of October of 2008, which I thought that was kind of weird that they pretty much the American like version of Quarantine copied Wreck, and they both came out the exact same month in the exact same year. And even if you look again, Quarantine actually released before Wreck did. So talk about being freaking sour for the Americans here. But Destiny, what is your opinion about Quarantine on first time watch? And does it even compare to Wreck?
Well, so I think Rec was either 2006 or 2007 as like the original release. And
Oh, okay.
so,
I probably really fucked that up bad.
well, that was probably like, it said limited. So that could have just been like an American release. So
Okay.
yeah, Rec was 2007. Um, but then that was probably just a release for a certain place. So this like it came out a year after, and it literally basically is a shot for shot remake. Besides the ending, like what's going on is different, but everything that's happening is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so up until the end, really nothing about it is different. And like I watched Rec for the first time this year, which I enjoyed it. And then I watched this one, which since it's like a shot for shot remake, like it's not a bad movie because that's a good movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so pointless because it's a shot for shot remake. Like nothing is really, even though a part of it's different, everything else is the same, so nothing is really added to it. And this is what I was talking about, where like earlier, this movie I recognized five people in this found footage type movie. And this is like when found footage doesn't work, because even though everyone's doing such a great job, but I know these people. I've seen all these people. I've This is the girl from The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's the guy from
Mm.
Hostel. That's freaking Chloe Grace Moretz. I watched her grow up. That's the guy from American Horror Story. That's that guy I always see in comedies. So you see all these people that you recognize from other things, and it just takes you out, because that's what works usually for found footage movies, is like you don't know these people. A lot of times they might get bigger afterwards, but at this time you don't know them. So it helps it feel more real. But
Mhm.
recognizing so many people in this movie, it just takes me out. Like obviously it's a movie, but it's like, no, this is like really a movie. It's a movie. I know these
Mhm.
people. So it wasn't bad, but it was just pointless. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, because it's still, like I said, it's not a bad movie, because what it's being is a good movie. But
Mhm.
just watch that movie. Just read the subtitles. It's just lazy. I feel like then you have something like Ringu and Ring, but they're still similar, don't get me wrong, but they do add things that make it different. So I feel
Different
like
from
they
each
kind of
other.
get the pass. But with this one, it's so blatant like what they're doing. So it's
Mhm.
frustrating. So yeah, if you're gonna watch them, just watch Rec. Just read the subtitles.
Yeah, and it's kind of same thing with Ashton said. Shot for shot remakes annoyed the fuck out of me, which I can easily see why. Just because, again, when you're gonna like shot for shot remakes, just don't cut it anymore, really. Because like it's just like, oh, you're gonna remake this. This is great. What else are you gonna bring different to it? And then when you just don't change anything, you just do everything pretty much the same as the original. Yeah, kind of like you said, like it's lazy. And plus, the thing with found footage flicks too, I want to see people that I don't recognize. So I could easily see how that just kind of like aggravates you with this. Like I've seen these people in other movies. This is your time to bring us a new actor or a new actress, and again, just to do something different. So I'm going to agree with you. I do plan to watch Quarantine here eventually when I get the time to watch it. But yeah, it's going to be wrecked all day, every day, because that freaking hallway scene still scares the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah, and that's another thing that sucks about this, since it basically is shot for shot. You know where
You
the
know what's
scares are
coming.
too, because the scares are like there's like such a big scare from that first one that is literally the exact same. So it's like if you've seen it, you know when you're about to you know what to expect in these moments. So that's
Mhm.
also like another downside. And especially since I watched both of these this year within like months of each other, it wasn't even like, oh, I don't remember like what happens. I'm like, oh, I know it's coming next.
Mhm.
Oh, get away from the window. You're about to get shot. Oh, we got shot. Oops. Like,
Oh, this bitch is
so
about to get dragged.
yeah, like so if you watch them, don't do it so close together. I would wait like years in between, so hopefully you don't remember every single thing that's about to
Mhm.
happen,
Or just
because that,
watch Wreck.
or just watch Rec, yeah, because it's just frustrating, really.
Mhm.
But
Just
again,
Americans try to make their buck.
yeah, like it's not a bad movie, and everyone does a great part with what they're doing, and like the gore is still really good, like all that, it's still good. It's just when you can watch the better one, just watch the better one.
No, absolutely agree with that. And Matty Baker, what's going on, man? Saying a lot of American remakes are totally pointless. Wreck is so much better. And again, I haven't seen Quarantine, but more than likely, I will say Wreck it will be a far superior remake.
Yeah.
So let's see here. And excuse me. I think the only remake I dig more is Let the Right One In, but I'm a freak for Flanagan, which again, that's explanatory. I totally get that, but I say Let the Right One In, the original for the Fry Fight tournament, and that movie really shot up for me. I think that movie is absolutely fantastic. Have you gotten the chance to see the original Let the Right One In? Okay, when you get a chance, I highly suggest you watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. Again, it's more subtitle reading, but it's just the story and the acting from the children are spectacular. So I know you will really enjoy it. So let's see here. Oh yeah, and he also said "Let Me In" is solid, which that's the American version.
Yeah, I've seen that one, but I watched that without knowing it was a remake, because I watched that like around the time it came out and had no idea it was a remake. But I did enjoy that one. It's
Nice.
just not one that I like to go back to, which is why I haven't watched Let
The
the Right One,
original.
because it's not a feel good movie. It's very cold, literally and like figuratively. So
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great word to describe that movie in general. It's cold. So that's a good thought. But no, again, I highly suggest you watch it once you are able to. Then I'll go ahead and just do three movies for this one because that's all that's left for 2008. The first one being Saw 5, part of that Saw craze we had during this time, released on October 24th of 2008. Then we have, speaking of freaking like cold and freaking dark, Eden Lake really is actually came out on Halloween in 2008. So 2 days it'll celebrate its anniversary. And if you have the guts, it is on Tubi right now. So, and then also we got Splinter, which I've seen this movie everywhere from documentaries, from people talking on Killer Flicks. I have not seen this movie, but I'm curious about it. So, Desi, before we tackle the other two, have you seen Splinter?
I have actually.
Oh, okay. Then
It
let us know.
was once, and it was a long time ago, and it was at my dad's apartment. Um, and I don't remember a whole lot of the story itself. I just remember it being really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Because this, like, I'm still like, I've always been like this, like really squeamish when it comes to like body horror stuff, and it's very much body horror. I think there's like a part where they're like at a gas station. So I think a lot of it might take place in like a gas station bathroom or something. Like I remember gray white walls, and I just remember like
Taco Bell?
crackling and like nasty like and like when it moves it's all weird. So like I don't actually remember the movie because this was probably in 2008 or like 2009 at least. So this was a long time ago, but I just remember it being gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually remember it now. It's like from the top 50 like horror movies that most people have not watched. It's like a little documentary they did for that I found on Tubi. That's where they mentioned Splinter.
Hmm.
So I do have it on my watch list, but I'm just like casually like, oh, if I'm just in the mood for it, I'll put it on. But I'm not like in a rush to go see it.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
one of those like random ones we rented from like Blockbuster because there's like one
Blockbuster.
right by my dad's apartment, but it was just DVDs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we got that from there because we would
Hell
just
yeah.
go in and find like random new horror movies, and definitely got it from there. Watched it. I was like, this is disgusting.
But no, that's awesome just to go to Blockbuster and just pick out a random horror movie. Like that those are just the golden days of Blockbuster, just doing that. And because that's where you find your true hidden gems in horror movies. Except for me, I was just a kid during that time and I was renting Disney stuff at Blockbuster. So Atanas, what's going on, man? Saying, have you mentioned Bride of Chucky? Yes, we did cover Bride of Chucky. So when we end this stream, if you want to go back and listen to our thoughts about Bride of Chucky, you absolutely can, because I know how big of a fan Atanas is of Bride of Chucky. So hell yeah. Let's see here. And yes, Atanas, if you just type in your favorite Halloween memory in the comic section, I'll be sure to get you down. So what? Okay, Destiny, what are your thoughts about Eden Lake? And actually, I'll go first with Eden Lake here first. Uh, yeah, I heard going in, this is not a very good, like, comfortable movie to watch. You just have to watch it on a day where you're just like, I don't know what to watch. I'm in a gloomy mood, like just one of those kind of moods. I feel like you need to be in to watch Eden Lake. And when I watched it, God, this movie sucks. Not that the movie sucks, but just the whole situation sucks. It's just what their characters had to deal with and all that. It's just so unnecessary because kids are fucking assholes. But man, the ending is where it gets me, and I'm not going to spoil the ending. I know it's been over the 5 years where I could spoil it, but I want you all to go blind on that. So it's just the ending. What the fuck? Like, ah. But Eden Lake, I found it as a good movie. What do you think, Destiny, about Eden Lake? Have you gotten a chance to see it yet?
No. And
Okay.
again, it's one of those movies that like I know like I have to be in a certain mood for a movie
Mm-hmm.
like that, and I just haven't found the time to where I like want to watch it.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be
But
a while too. It's kind of like the same thing with like the Lighthouse. You just have to be in the mood to watch something like that. But I do suggest you put Eden Lake on the list when you do get to that feeling, and just you need something to watch.
yeah, it's on
So,
my thing on Tubi, but haven't
mhm,
gotten around to it.
I got you. And what are your thoughts about Saw 5?
I've shared my sort of distaste for some certain Saw movies, and it's mainly four through really four through Jigsaw, not gonna lie. But this sort of middle part with four through six is just like this is where it really loses me. Like seven is just bad, and then Jigsaw just doesn't
Mhm.
make fucking any sense. But like four through six, where it like really loses me, but especially five. Five is like so forgettable. Five is the one with the people with the building, right?
Yeah, it's like the five people that have to work together to get out of
It
the
has the
main
girl from
trap.
Dexter.
Yeah, correct. I think that's right.
Yeah. So
See,
like
I don't
this
even
one, like
remember much about Saw 5 either. But
to me, like even out of these, the middle, like with four, five, and six, this one is still the most forgettable for me. So like I just
Mhm.
you have Hoffman sort of taking over, and I cannot stand Hoffman. I just
Be
can't do
nice to
it.
him.
No, he's so annoying. So I cannot stand when he's sort of taking more of like the front of the movies. I just wish we wouldn't have gotten so much time with them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just don't this the I just don't really care for this one. Not to say it's even bad. It's just
But
I
you're
don't go
just
back
tuned
to
out
it.
of it.
Yeah, it's just yeah. I check out really at four, and then I'm done up
Mhm.
until Spiral and the new one. Really,
Hmm. And I kind of agree with you because like I agree that I felt like the Saw franchise should have ended at 3, but I get with all the money it's making, just to make the most money out of you, like just to make the most money at that you can before it just really gets stole or like stale, or you just really produce a bad movie. So I get why they continued it, but I'm with you, Fo. They should have ended it at 3 just to make it a perfect horror trilogy, or one of the top horror trilogies of all time. But yeah, I agree. Saw 5 is definitely forgettable. But the thing I do enjoy most about Saw 5, and I'm just the opposite of for you from you, is that I like the whole cat and mouse game between Strom and Hoffman. I thought that was just something interesting and different they did within this franchise. And plus, the main trap just wasn't that great because I didn't give a shit about any of those people. And just they all just like I just it's hard to explain. I just don't like it. I just like just give me more Hoffman, give me more Strom. That ultimate game of cat and mouse. That's the only thing, and the only reason why I give this particular movie like a 3 out of 5. Is because just of that particular storyline alone. But yeah, I'm with you, folks. Saw 5, just to me, anything from Saw 4 and beyond, just really honestly didn't need to exist, really.
yeah,
So,
I agree.
uh, okay, and that is all I got from 2008. Did you have anything different from 2008?
No,
Okay. So let's see here. Just checking the chat real quick. Y'all are doing great. We appreciate you guys. We understand this Halloween weekend, and so we appreciate you all just hanging out with us. So let's go ahead and go to 2013. Nothing much that really stands out except for the last two. So we'll go ahead and just quickly go through these two. This is Fright Night 2, and this is the Fright Night 2 based off the remake version of Fright Night. The sequel here, October 1st, 2013. And then the other one is All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. Had a limited release on October 11th of 2013. Destiny, have you seen any of these two movies?
no, I am not.
Yeah, I haven't either. I just want to go ahead and just mention them, just in case if somebody is a fan of these two movies, and we didn't want to leave them out. So let's go ahead and go to the other two movies that I do have here. And that is, speaking of remakes, we got the Carrie remake released on October the 18th of 2013. This is on this is on Max right now. And then Joe Bob recently covered this on his Halloween special, and that's All Hallows Eve. a birth of a horror of this generation's of horror icon of Art the Clown. Had a DVD release on the 29th, which that's today. So happy anniversary to All Hallows Eve. So Destiny, what are your thoughts about both of these movies?
I have only seen the Carrie remake once, and that was probably in 2013. And I actually watched this before I had seen the original. I watched this and it made me want to
Okay.
watch the original. And I don't think it's a bad remake, but I feel like it's one that definitely gets like lost. And I've only seen it that once, but I still remember like the parts of it. I just think the original is so good. And
Mm-hmm.
then after like seeing that one first and then going to the original, I was like, oh yeah, the original is way better. But I haven't even seen the original in freaking a long time either. It's probably been about the same time since I've seen the 2013 one. So
So
I'm
you're
due
due
for a
for a rewatch.
rewatch.
You're due for a rewatch.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. It's just I don't think it really like stands out. A little bit is different, especially like towards like the ending and stuff, but a lot of it is the same. Some of it's a little bit modernized. Yeah, it's just like okay
Yeah, just
for
meh.
me. Yeah, and I haven't seen All Hallows Eve. Um, it's one of the episodes I have to catch up for Last Drive-In.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you have not seen All Hallows Eve.
No, that was actually one that I was wanting. I was saving. It was like on my watch list for this October, and it was going to be a new watch. So I'm glad I haven't seen it yet. I just don't know if I'll even be able to watch it in October. I might have to bleed into November a little bit
November.
to watch it.
There you
So
go.
I do plan on watching it though, because I do want to watch that episode.
Yeah, and do you know kind of like know what it's about? Because I don't want to spoil anything when I talk about it.
No.
Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and kind of leave it alone. But I will say I had a good time with All Hallows Eve, especially just kind of where the origins of Art the Clown really all just began before he got his own movie. So that's all I'll just say. I think you'll have a good time with it, especially if you combine it with Joe Bob. You'll definitely have a good time with it. So I'll just leave it at that. The Carrie remake, kind of like you, it's forgettable, and it's not forgettable the fact that it's bad. It's just for some reason it's just forgettable. I thought, like, from my memory, I think everybody does a good job with the roles they were given, and the girl that's pretty much the bitch from the original. I think she goes way more over the top this time, or for the remake, but I still think she does a good job. They definitely made the whole ending of the remake just way more. What we call, Braden actually uses the great term. That's how he describes the nun too. It's more Marvel cinematic ending, but it kind of really didn't need to be. Definitely give me the original because I rewatched the original for the Fright Fight tournament, and that movie fucking shot up sky high. Probably the biggest like jump of my letterbox rating scale. I almost gave Carrie a 5. I'm pretty sure I almost gave Carrie a 5 out of 5, but it's right at that 4.5 out of 5. So definitely give me the original Carrie, but I do like the remake. But it's kind of like A, I forget about it, and B, it's just one I will not revisit that much.
Yeah, I agree.
So, oh, and Aaron Click, I'm so sorry. What's going on, man? I saw you earlier. I thought I addressed you, so I apologize. What's going on, Aaron Click? Saying, yeah, the performances were good in the Carrie remake. It just wasn't necessary, and I agree with that. But it's Hollywood. They try to freaking make money when they're bored. So, so let's see here. Okay, is that everything that I addressed in 2013? Did you have anything else from 2013?
Nope.
Awesome. So we are moving along great. So let's see. We are in 2018. So let's see here. Okay, let's go with these first two movies here. The first one being Terrified. It had an internet release in October 11th of 2018, and I've been seeing this movie. Well, how I first heard about this movie is based off the science study they did for scariest movie of all time, based off science that me and Brad discovered, and Terrified was on here. And my memory of this movie, I thought it was okay. Like, definitely the opening of the movie with that one big scare, I thought it was great. Other than that, I just like, oh, good. Oh, good. kind of like back and forth. And it kind of annoyed me a little bit, but I did enjoy the things that I did like, but everything else was just okay to me. I can see why people, like from a science perspective, put Terrifier as the scariest movie of all time, but I just do not think that, in my opinion. I think Sinister should be the declarative number one, in my opinion. So, what do you think about Terrified, Destiny, or have you not seen it?
I have seen it. I watched that for the first time this year, and I enjoyed it. I don't think it's the scariest movie ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I remember parts being like, "Oh, that was good," but like I didn't even like it didn't even like feel like anything really. And there's some like unsettling parts. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely a particular scene that I was like, "Oh,
Was it the beginning or was it the kitchen?
the kitchen." I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah. That's the other one.
so there's like I think it's more like unsettling for me rather than like scary. But personally I think like unsettling works better than just like a bunch of like jump scares. But I thought it was like okay. It definitely wasn't because they do have it like on Shutter has like a certain like something to do with like scare like these are supposed to be like the scariest movies like streaming on the app, and it was like one of the first ones on there, and so I was like okay, and I gave it a watch and I was like okay, that was a little dramatic, but whatever. But I still thought it was a good movie. I'm glad I watched it, even though it wasn't as scary as people as I thought or I was
Yeah.
hoping it to be. But it was still a good movie and
Yeah.
like
And I
pretty
was just
exciting.
also, and I was just curious too, what freaking people did they get to like to test like a scariest movie of all time too? Because if it was just us horror fans, it would not make the list, in my opinion.
I know. I'd love to be a part of that study. That'd be so much fun. I just
Actually,
want to
I'll be
know for
honest, we might
myself.
be the worst people for the study, just because we'll just sit there going,
But you have
"Oh,
to have
it's
what do
awesome."
you call? What are those people? Or when you're doing a study, you have to have like
Oh God,
something.
it's been such a long time since I've been to high school. I with high school me will know this term immediately. Damn it, I forgot.
We'll be the people that are like to keep. Well, maybe we're too far on one side though. You have to have like a middle guy. We're not, but we're the balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
think
but
we would
yeah,
have to
just
be.
let us get involved. Pay us to go watch scary movies. Damn it! Like we'll tell you
Yeah.
what's actually scary. So the other one, here's the next one I have too. I have not seen it. Is Goosebumps 2, The Haunted Halloween. This is a sequel after the success of the first Goosebumps movie, which I had a really good time with that one. So Destiny, have you seen this one?
No, I haven't seen either of the Goosebumps movies.
Oh, okay. So, have you gotten a chance to watch the? Or actually, probably not. But have any interest about the show that recently released on Disney Plus?
I'll watch it at some point, but I haven't been able to. No,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but
was
I
that
would like
word
to.
bias?
Maybe that's what I'm looking for because it'd definitely be biased.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Sure, we'll go with that term. So,
Sounds
thank you,
good.
Maddie Baker. But yeah, I'm with you. I'll see the series when I get a moment. And I'll see the second one when I just get time. But I definitely, if you're gonna watch any of the movie stuff, I say give the first one a watch because it's just dumb fun. Because Jack Black just is, Jack Black.
Great man.
Yeah, he is a very good man. He's also a lucha wrestler, from what I hear. So let's see here. Let's go to this one net. Let's go to a Netflix show and a documentary that I mentioned earlier. Which the first Netflix show, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to do both of the Netflix shows. With this first one being The Haunting of Hill House. Mike Flanagan here, delivering some of his freaking best work ever on scares, mood, and atmosphere. So that's the first one. And the second show is a show called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And I know what you're thinking. This girl looks familiar. And I'll tell you why, because this is the girl from Totally Killer that recently came out on Amazon Prime. The main blonde girl character, that's the same actress right there. So if you were curious about that. So, Destiny, have you seen Sabrina?
No, I have not.
Okay. Haven't seen either. I'll give it a watch in the future once Netflix starts doing sharing again, because I totally lost my Netflix account because of it. So damn it.
Damn.
I know. I'll tell you this: when they do Stranger Things, I'm gonna buy the membership for myself because I'm not missing that shit.
I mean,
So
yeah, you have to.
big time. And plus, like, I got who else is going to calm you down at like 5 o'clock in the morning too?
They better watch themselves.
I know. I'm just waiting for all this writing crap to end so we could just finally get to filming that season. But I know you're a big fan of The Haunting of Hill House, so 2 questions on it. What did you think about it? And do you prefer Haunted of Hill House, Bly Manor, or Midnight Mass?
See, that's hard. Also, so I was looking to make sure I was right before I said it, but
Oh,
I'm
go for it.
almost positive that the girl from Sabrina,
Totally
she's
Killer.
in Hill House.
Oh, is
I
she?
think.
Man, she would
I
have been
think
very
she
busy that
plays.
year.
I think she plays one of the younger, or maybe this is a different girl.
Hmm.
I don't
Are,
know because
are
it's
you looking on Letterbox?
McKenna Grace Hill House is playing a younger version.
Here, let me look real
I think
quick.
it might be her. I think she plays the one with the gloves. Anyways, whether she is or she's not, I love Midnight Mass, and like I love all 3 shows. So, because like
Mhm.
Braden's going through Bly Manor right now, so I've been like watching some episodes with them, and we're gonna finish like the last 2, I think maybe tonight, which I'm not ready for.
I was like, you're
I
not.
was
I
already
was like,
crying.
he's not ready.
He's not ready. I'm not ready, and I know it's coming. But I've already been crying during random episodes, so I'm gonna be a mess. But like, I love each series for like a different reason. Like Hill House, like it's still like very upsetting, but like it left me feeling like numb. But with Blind Manor, I literally cried for like hours after watching. In Midnight Mass, I cried, but I felt again like numb. So I don't know. It's really hard to choose.
It really is. Like, because here's my ranking. Mine's Midnight Mass #1 because like freaking Mia got me on that. It's like you need, or it's either Mia or Victoria said you gotta watch Midnight Mass. I'm like, okay, I'm bored. Let's watch it, and I just didn't turn it off since. I almost finished it the entire day. The next one up is Blind Manor because I love the story aspect of it more. A lot of people say it was the scariest one, which I disagree with. Haunting a Hill House was the scariest one of the 3 because crooked neck lady and the freaking car scene where that thing jumps up from the back seat, fucking terrifying. I even had to push pause. But Leela, who's a friend of ours from Killer Flick, she was the one that suggested Haunting a Hill House, and I watched all of that at like 8 o'clock in the morning, all the way up to like midnight. I finished it all within that day because I was just obsessed with that show. But again, like you said, it's hard to judge all 3 of them because they all offer something different, but they all stand out on their own and they're absolutely brilliant. But with Haunting a Hill House, to me, it's definitely the scariest one. For the 2 things that I say. And plus, everybody just does such a great job. And it just shows again Mike Flanagan just being a pure horror genius that he is.
Yeah, I think Hill House is definitely the scariest. Bly Manor, even though Hill House is also very sad, but Bly
Mm-hmm.
Manor just like hit me in such a different way. And then Midnight Mass is just like it's like unsettling, but in like different ways than you would like expect.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Midnight Mass has the preacher
Oh gosh.
or priest, whatever he is. I don't know.
I
So
would
I
say
might,
he's kind of both.
so I might have to lean more towards Midnight Mass.
And you know what? Mia would be very pleased to hear that. So, but let's see. Yeah, but no, all 3 shows are great. And you even said or I saw you catch the Usher one, like Flanagan's last Netflix series. How was that, real quick?
I enjoy that one a lot. Especially if you're a fan of like Edgar Allan Poe, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what the whole show is. Like, in every episode is like a different like little story in an episode, but like modernized.
Oh, okay.
So it was really good though. I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice. If I can get back freaking password sharing, I would definitely, that would be one of the top things that I will watch immediately because I was so sad I think I will not get a chance to watch it. So I'm trying to get Brett or other people to watch it, so at least can get a real horror nomination.
Yeah, it
So
was really good.
hell yeah. And what I will talk about next here, because I'm actually in a groove of watching this right now, it's the History of Horror, Eli Roth's History of Horror. And this is a documentary series. It's like a mini series in a way. It has 3 seasons to it. And this is on Shutter right now. And pretty much what this show does, it just like tackles each particular topic within the horror genre. And yeah, it goes within like the horror genre. So like one episode is about zombies, the other episode is about vampires, and they go really into detail about each of that, and it's just nothing but extraordinary. And they even like suggest movies you should watch that they cover within those episodes as well. I'm actually on the second season right now because the best thing for this series to do with it is if you got to do chores around the house, or if you're a student working on homework and you just need something playing in the background, this is the best thing to put on that background because if something interests you, you can stop and watch it. If it doesn't pertain to you, you could get back to doing what you're doing. So what about you, Destiny? What are your thoughts about History of Horror with Eli Roth?
I haven't really watched it because, like, I know Eli Roth is like super knowledgeable or whatever. I just don't. There's something about him that just like isn't. There's just something about him.
I was like, so you're
And I
telling me the
just
guy that made Cabin Fever is doing this series where we could have gotten anybody else?
and like I know he knows his stuff. Like he is like a really big fan of horror and everything. But I don't know. I don't know. I've tried to watch a little bit of it before or like listen to some of it before, and I'm just like, I don't know, because I listen to a bunch of podcasts for work, so I did try to like listen to some of it. Maybe I'll give it another chance at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah, like again, if you just want to put it as like background stuff to it and you just like have pay attention, like I think it's worth a shot. But I totally understand at the same time why not. So
Yeah, it just
it's
wasn't really working for me.
no, I totally understand because again, Eli Roth, like he's just has a different style to everything. So I understand that. And the last thing I have for 2018, guess what? Halloween related. Halloween 2018, the return of, well, actually, it's not called that because we already have a return of Michael Myers, but this is just Halloween 2018, released on October the 19th of 2018, the start of David Gordon Green's trilogy of this classic. And I'll say this, I loved this movie. This is actually one of my top 5 theater experiences of all time is with this movie. The score is just with what John Carpenter and his son Cody Carpenter did in this movie is outstanding. I got the final album right over there that I love to play every now and then. I just also think it's just they did a great job bringing all the original characters back and also bring back some newer characters for us to get invested in. Like, especially if you're a new fan into Halloween, you got somebody you could get behind while the older original fans got their old characters to cheer for as well. So I think they did a great job setting everything up for a trilogy. What they did after the trilogy, yeah, got some thoughts on that. So what about you, Vo? What are your thoughts about 2018?
I enjoy 2018. The parts that are like really good are like really, really good. And the parts that are just like, what are y'all doing? It's really just like
the
what
peanut butter on my
the
penis.
no, it's the sartain stuff is like what bothers me. Because
Mhm.
I like a lot of the choices I think are great, but there's some choices that I think were not very good. But it is my favorite of the trilogy that we got. I do think it's because it's the most like a Halloween movie. Um, but I think it's just like a good popcorn movie. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't compare, in my opinion, to like the original or just like the feel of any of the original, like really any of the movies. Like it has such a different feel to it because it is like newer and it feels like fresh. But because of that, I don't know. I think it's just a good slasher movie. Like I don't know. I think like
Mhm.
the original Halloween's like a really good just like movie. But I think Halloween is just a good slasher movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, I don't know. It's
No,
a good movie for like a Halloween party, but I don't think it's like revolutionary.
No, I get that, and plus, especially the bathroom scene too. Like, I thought all that was just like A+ work of a Halloween,
Mhm.
and plus Michael putting on that mask after so many years, like it's just iconic. But I kind of actually agree with you though, that this is a great slasher movie for the Halloween franchise. But if it's a like a golden movie, kind of like the original Halloween is, definitely not. And I get the whole Sartang hate. I'm starting to slowly come around to it because he's supposed to be the opposite of Dr. Loomis. And I guess that's why a lot of people don't like Sartang, because he's trying to be that Loomis character. Even Lori pointed it out during the movie. Oh, like, you must be the new Loomis. Kind of hurt his character immediately with that line, which I kind of blame the writing on that part. But other than that, though, 2018 is just a great addition to this franchise. Like a great breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I
So.
agree. Yeah, the whole Sartain stuff is really, and just like some weird like character moments. Like the last time I watched this, which was like right at the end of like September, I rewatched it and I was just like, huh. And the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, that was good, but I wasn't like blown away by it. But then I kept going back to it, and it like I would randomly watch it throughout the year. And then this past rewatch, I was like, huh. I kind of felt like the way I did the first time I watched it, where I was like, oh, interesting. So it kind of made me take a step back and be like, maybe this wasn't as great or like as good as I thought it was. I don't know. But then, like
Mhm.
I said, the parts that are good are so good. And I do love that ending. I think that final showdown with the three versus Michael, like I love all that part. There's just some really weird parts leading up to where we get to that I'm just like,
Oh, how like Michael
clearly
got to
this
the
was just
house
to
and
get
all
him to
that.
here. Yeah, like there's just like some strange stuff, but whatever. It's a great October movie, of course.
Mhm. No, no, definitely. So I definitely wanted to talk about Halloween 2018. That is actually all I have from 2018. Did you have anything else?
No.
Alrighty, so I'm doing great. At least trying not to forget any of the big ones here, because I still will not let my malignant freaking down when you caught me on that one. Oh, Courtney Reed, thank you so much, man. A $5 super chat, saying, Matt Fauci is dancing in his living room. Turn your porch light off. Love you. Oh, Courtney Dinkum. I'm trying to ignore that loss, but thank you so much for the super chat. Let's do this one right here.
Investors. Where do we find investors?
Right there.
Oh, hello, Belchers. Just having one of our money fights.
Having a money fight, man. But Courtney Reed, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. And you say you didn't have anything else 2018, correct?
No.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to go ahead and enter the last year of this episode right here, and that is from the movies from last year, from 2022. So let's go ahead. We'll tackle these like two at a time. There's a lot that actually came out during this time. So the first two up is going to be one of the popular Shudder original movies from last year is Deadstream. Had an internet release of October the 6th of 2022. This is currently on Shudder right now. And then the big movie of last year was a lot of people's favorite, and that is Terrifier 2. Also was released on October the 6th of 2022. And if for some reason, if you have not seen this yet, highly suggest doing so. And it's on Prime Video. So, Destiny, what do you think about Deadstream and Terrifier 2?
I enjoy Deadstream. I think it's a fun time. I think it was, I don't want to say overhyped because like they
It
put a
was a
lot of work
little
into
bit.
this. I think with how people are describing how crazy it was, I was expecting more craziness, but I don't think it was too whoa. But it still went like some places, and I did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then Terrifier 2, I thought was great. I've only
Mhm.
seen it that one time, which was last year on Halloween. I'm hoping I can watch it. I'm gonna get off work, come home, because I'll have a couple hours to watch movies. So I definitely want to watch Terrifier 2, just since I did that last year on Halloween. I want to follow through this year as well. So I haven't watched it this year, but I will Tuesday. And I very much enjoyed Terrifier 2. I thought I liked the first one a good amount. I have watched that one this October. But the second one is just, you have more characters and more likable characters. You have more Art the Clown doing crazy shit. It's a lot longer. It goes on quite a while. But everything that's happening is so much fun. So I do enjoy it a lot. I think Terrifier 2 is great. And I'm really excited for Terrifier 3.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting ready to ask you about Terrifier 3, and I'm actually going to cover the whole Terrifier 3 news, too, on my new podcast for the first episode that's going to be releasing next Saturday. I'm looking forward to talking about that. But with Deadstream, I'm am agreement. I'm on your side of it. Did get overhyped a little bit, but I still had a terrific time with it, which is kind of funny that the director is also the plays the main character as well. So hell, it's one of those examples like, hell, if anyone's going to play this character and knows this character well, it's going to be freaking me. And I thought he gave it his all. I think he is absolutely hilarious, and I love the idea of where he's live streaming with people. It's like, no, I don't want her here. Wait a minute, why are y'all on her side? Like, what's going on here? Like, no, I'm not going to stay in the fucking house. Like, all of it's just terrific. I really have a fun time with it. Definitely one of the best Shudder movies that came out last year was Deadstream. Terrifier 2, I had a shit experience at the theater because I had like this girl freaking like drinking like 2 24-ounce Trulies at the theater and thinking she needed to be the star of the movie. But once she shut up a little bit, I loved what happened in Terrifier 2. Art the Clown just being extra, because pretty much that's the formula in a sequel. You have to be morph in the original while keeping the originality of the original. And Terrifier 2 did exactly that. I think it did it close to perfection. My only harp on it is that very last scene, because I don't know what the fuck that was about and what it does in the future. Like, what it does for the feature of the third one. And plus you wasted Chris Jericho too, which pissed me off too as a wrestling fan. But the other thing too is this movie did not need to be like close to a 2.5 hour movie. They could have easily trimmed a lot of it down. But if they did that, everything else, like the kills were freaking brutal, and I loved everything they did. And plus the best thing I loved about Terrifier 2 was freaking Sienna Shaw, the character played by Lauren Lavera. Talk about a brand new final girl that was born for the 2020s.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah, and I got a chance to meet her for the first time in August too, and she was nothing but an absolute sweetheart. So every time she's at a convention that I'm going to, I'm definitely always going to meet her. So let's see here. We got 2 more people that joined us. Let's see, where did they go? Oh, there's for one. Bacon Pew Pew, what's going on, my friend? And we got Sebastian as well. What's going on there, Sebastian? Oh, and Blu-ray Addict, what's going on, man? So I rewatched Halloween H2O and Resurrection today. You could find a better movie than Resurrection, but you know what, man? Hell yeah. And I blame Chad for that too. And yes, Terrifier. Oh, wrong comment. Terrifier 3 looks interesting. So just a quick thought on that. How excited are you for Terrifier 3? Especially now it looks like it's going to be our brand new Christmas movie.
I'm very excited.
Oh yeah.
Love Christmas movies.
Like I actually think with the Christmas setting with art, it has a chance of being like the best one of the 3. So
yeah, I'm really excited.
Hell yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and go on to the next 2 here. Because again, this is like bangers after bangers right here, with this next one being Hulu's big release of the Hellraiser, released on October the 7th for an internet release, which in my opinion, this should have gotten a theater treatment. I thought this movie was great. And then the other movie that came out on the internet the exact same day on Paramount Plus was Significant Other with Mika Monroe. And she was terrific in this as well. So, Destiny, what are your thoughts about both of these movies?
I enjoyed both of those movies. I remember watching Hellraiser. That was the day after I had food poisoning. because I remember I was like curled up into a ball.
What's that? The subway
Yeah,
torture from hell. Yeah.
yeah, the subway fiasco. But I remember watching Hellraiser like that morning when I woke up because I could not go to work. So I woke up that morning and like laid in bed and I watched Hellraiser and I enjoyed it. I thought it could have pushed more because like that first Hellraiser, like I rewatched it not that long ago, the first and the second one. And then thinking about the original, like they could have definitely pushed the envelope a little bit more, like because it was pretty tame on like the sort of like the pleasure part. Like there's pain. Could have been more pain, really.
Yeah, agreed.
But there also could have been way more pleasure because I feel like they were like missing, like they're lacking like the whole like almost like sex appeal of the movie. I don't know. So I was expecting more on that part. But besides that, I did enjoy it. Like I thought the new like Pinhead was great. I thought there's one specific kill that I really enjoyed because I was like, yes, this feels like Hellraiser. And I won't give it away, but it involves a backbend. And I was like,
yes,
this is what I'm talking about. So I really like that part. There's just some parts that I feel like it was too dark, like seeing wise, like actually like too dark in some scenes. Like I was watching on my phone, but I had my brightness like all the way turned up and I was like, I still can't see like what's going on with some of these scenes. But I definitely want to give that one another watch at some point too. Just because I've only seen it that one time last year. But I did enjoy it. And then the other one
Significant Other.
I also enjoyed. And I watched this around that, probably I think it was that same weekend because all these movies were coming out like boom, boom, boom. I think I watched Hellraiser and Deadstream the same day. And then I watched this movie that same weekend. I enjoyed it. It's very weird. Like so I didn't even like going into it, I didn't really know what it was about, but then like it just is so strange. But Micah Monroe is such a great actress and she can just like carry whatever to her, even though it did get a little bit too weird for me in my opinion. I'm still like with it because I like her as an actress. Like whatever she's doing, I'm with her. So I'm sticking it out because of her. So I enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3 out of 5. Like it wasn't if it wasn't a certain type of movie, I would have liked it more, but because it just went such a strange direction, I was like, oh, okay, you've lost me a little bit, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah, Significant Other it was just good just because, again, it had Megan Monroe in it, and anything that she does, I'm going to fucking just be invested immediately. And plus, it was just great seeing her back in the horror genre, too, because of her earlier work within that year was Watcher. So it was just great to have her back, which, yeah, we've covered Watcher earlier this year. And so if you've not seen Watcher, that is a great movie that you all need to get hopping on immediately. Significant Other, just watch it just when you can. It's just a good movie. Hellraiser, I agree with Destiny. It was very dark. It wasn't as dark as like freaking Alien versus Predator Requiem, but it was still pretty dark where it's hard to see some things. And the best word you did use to describe the movie is unfortunately, it's too clean. It needed to be like sexier. It needed to be dirtier. It needed to be more bloody. Or as Brad famously says on our channel, more blood. Like it definitely needed more blood. But it was just a great start of bringing back Hellraiser after Hellraiser just had so many rotten movies within its franchise. It's just great. It's just a great fresh air, like just a breath of fresh air. Hopefully they do more of it, and I hope they bring back that particular Pinhead into those feature movies because I thought she did nothing but a spectacular job.
Yeah, it was vanilla. It was very vanilla. And that's just not what I want for my Hellraisers. I want it to be a little bit wrong.
You want some cookies and cream, or cookies and cream to go with it.
And like it doesn't even have to be like 3 is like pretty raunchy. Like, and it doesn't even need to be like raunch. Like I just want like the lust. Like I want like the yearning. Like,
because that's what the Hellraiser movie is about. Because when I rewatched
like,
the first one,
that appeal,
right?
Which I think the first one is really, in my opinion, the best. I've only seen 1, 2, 3, and then the reboot or whatever. So like I think the first one, in my opinion, gets that like down the best of like lust and stuff like that. Like I feel like none of them have compared to that feeling of the first one. I want that back. Like I want the yearning back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a big part of it. It's just I don't know. Then it gets just too focused on like the actual like sex. I'm like, well, now you're just jumping the gun. You got to have
Exactly.
the foreplay of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
like
what
the
we
build,
need.
like you got to build up to the moment, like
Yes,
build
you
up
need
the
to build
lust and
up.
all that.
That's like the most exciting part.
And that's what the first
That's what I
Hellraiser
need.
does extremely well, because I rewatched that one for the tournament as well, and along with Carrie, that one majorly boosted up for me, because originally I gave it like a 3.5, but I came this close giving it a 5 out of 5, because I finally
See, like
understood it.
I rewatched it too, and I really enjoyed the first one the first time. But then I rewatched it again, and like I was like,
It
oh
was
my god,
amazing.
like that was so like much better than I even remembered. And I was trying to find Hellraiser merchandise, and it's so limited. But I was like
Etsy's a
trying to
good
find
site
stuff.
for it.
There wasn't even really that much stuff on there because I already
Oh,
have
really?
like the puzzle. I already have like
Probably
the
because this guy bought all of it right here, Robbie. Which Robbie,
Probably.
what's going on, my friend? He probably bought all the Hellraiser stuff on Etsy, so blame him.
Like none of the like main T-shirt sites have Hellraiser. They have had them in the past, but they don't have them now. I was like, really? Not one of y'all have a Hellraiser T-shirt?
God, that's
So, yeah.
bullshit. Because that would be
I
a
know.
sick shirt to own.
There's definitely have been some. I've seen them before, but they are gone.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, but definitely, I've seen the first one. I've still got to check out 2 and 3. I did see Inferno because that's Scott Derrickson. I had to do that for a homework assignment, which it was just okay, but it's definitely not your typical Hellraiser movie because it was more murder mystery than anything. It had no lust to it at all. But definitely, this newer one, the 2022 one, still good, but it was missing some things that made the original the classic that it is today. So those are the thoughts of Hellraiser. So let's see here. We got. I'm actually going to save this big one for the end here. So let me go ahead and get some small ones out of the way here. First one, have you seen Dark Glasses?
No, it's on my watch list.
I have not seen this one, and I do not have this on my watch list. So after you get done watching it, you let me know if it's worth a watch or not. See here, and I definitely have you seen VHS 99? Because I've not seen any of the VHSs.
I have, but these run so close together in my mind that I don't remember what's for this one. Like what segments are for what. Because these newer VHS movies have been like pumped out fast. But I remember watching it, of course, and I do remember liking it because I did watch this last year during October, and I did like it. I just don't remember necessarily what segments were for it. Not gonna lie.
Yes, but see, that's the problem with having anthology movies like for a franchise, because eventually they all are going to mesh well together with certain segments for like, what is this segment, what movie, and all that. So I could I could easily understand how like they're all so meshed together. You don't know which is which.
Yeah.
So, all right, just checking the comic section real quick. Rosie said that VHS 99 is good, so that's awesome. Excuse me. And then these two movies here, we got Pray for the Devil. I actually got to see this in theaters on opening night, released on October 28th of 2022. And another one that a friend of mine actually brought this to my attention. I've not seen it, but just the poster alone has me interested. And this is Run, Sweetheart, Run. And this is on Amazon Prime Video right now, if you're curious about it. So, Destiny, have you seen any of these two movies?
No, I have not.
Okay. So we'll skip Run, Sweetheart, Run for that one. But for Pray for the Devil, it was just okay. Okay, just to be honest now, it's just when I'm trying to think of a thing about this movie, I can't really think of one. So that's not a good start. But I do remember just thinking it was just meh at best. Like nothing too special. It doesn't really offer new to like the whole like exorcism genre of horror movies. So it was just okay. So no rush, to go see it. And then before we get to our big topic for 2022, I actually remember that there's a particular fan film that celebrated its 1 year anniversary, and I definitely wanted to bring it up. It was last minute, but I want to make sure I give it some love here. And that's My Special Boy, a Friday the 13th fan film released last year on YouTube. So if you're a fan of Friday the 13th and you love Jason and all of his goodness, and of course, if you love our boy Chad, who's a great friend of ours to this YouTube journey, be sure to check this out. So, Destiny, what are your thoughts about My Special Boy? Oh gosh,
There's some funny parts.
Are we talking about the freaking the shirt scene?
The whole scene is it's definitely something. But it does have some good moments, and Chad does great as Jason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he certainly does. And even though I will have to say Brayden was an asshole in this movie, his character, because intentionally he knew everything that was happening and he let people die. So Brayden, if you're listening to this, you're not a good person, my friend. Terrible camp counselor.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him.
Yeah. Well,
No.
shoot, I was like, you shouldn't. Nah, I'm kidding. Aaron Click said, "Take that shirt off." Oh my gosh, we are not going to get into that, like, because we're still trying to figure out what happened in that scene.
Like, we know it happened.
It just happened. But yeah, we just wanted to give the shout out for My Special Boy. So there's to you guys. And then the last one we will talk about, and then we'll start to close everything up. We're saving it for Halloween Ends. Halloween Ends released on October the 14th of 2022. And this is actually on Amazon Prime right now if you want to watch it before Halloween season is over. So Destiny, I'll let you get the first crack at this. What are your thoughts about Halloween Ends?
You know, I remember that the lead up to Halloween Ends, I was just like, what's going on? Because I just remember watching the Hollow stream last year with like Dave and Wham and Lee and Wolfman's Got Nards. It had everyone there, and I just remember everyone was talking about Corey, and I was just like, I literally remember the chat said, "Who the fuck is Corey? Like, who are y'all talking about? Who is this mystery character?" And everyone's telling me, and I was like, "What? Okay." And then I remember people talking about how this is, hello, can I speak? David Gordon Green was comparing this to Christine, and I was like, a movie about a car? Whatever, man. You're crazy. And then I remember on Fear Freaks, when it hit me, what it meant. I was literally like looking, and I was talking to Brayden, and I said, "Oh my God. Oh my God, no. I know what it means now." And then watching the movie, it's exactly what it was. And I was like, fuck. So like going into the movie, I wasn't surprised because I knew, but I still wasn't happy with the result. But for some reason, David Gordon Green, his Halloween franchise, it just like something about it makes me want to go back to it every time. And so I did the same thing with Halloween Ends. I saw it in theaters and I walked out just being like, dude, are you serious? And then I watched it the next day at work because I was like, I have to watch it again. And then I hadn't watched it since. And then Brayden and I rewatched it because we both just wanted to watch it. And then we were both like, maybe that wasn't as bad as I remembered it being. And it's like, to me, like, I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's just, I think it's very misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
You don't end a trilogy with a new character like this. It's just so weird. And like, I still think that Corey should have lived at the end. They should have done the panning shot and his body's gone and be like a callback to the original because it shows evil lives on. And even though, because like, why introduce this character just for him to die? Like, he could have been the evil that carries on. And I'm not saying he's our new Michael Myers at all. Like, he could be for this, but that's the end of this story. We don't need any more of this. But it just shows how evil transcends. But instead he's dead. Michael's dead. And I was like, what? But rewatching it, I definitely enjoyed it more. I did the same thing with Kills. I enjoyed those more on like rewatches just because the first time is just so jarring with those movies because I was still just like, what are you doing? But I do like Corey as a character. I actually liked him and Allison more this time around. It's still, some parts are very weird, and I think it's just the scripting for these movies. Some character choices are just so strange. But I think Corey, when he is playing Michael Myers, he does a great job. Like, some of the best kills from this movie is from Corey. So, and that's saying a lot. So I do think this movie has some great moments. And I think there's a really good story in there that could have been either introduced earlier and interweaved, or just like wrapped up better, I think, or I don't know. Because like there is a good story in there, I think. It's just I don't think it was handled the best for the closing trilogy. Like, come on now. So yeah, if it was like the middle movie, I think I would definitely appreciated it more the first time around. Because it could have given you time to breathe also from Michael Myers for that last movie to be like a really big like punch.
Yeah.
But
no, I agree with you, Fo. Like, that's what I always keep saying, that like Halloween Ends needed to be the sequel and Kills should have been the end. Kind of like in a way, just because more happens in Kills than it does in Ends, in my opinion. Like, from an actions thing, if you're going to end everything, you want to go balls to the wall crazy with everything. But with like here's the thing with Ends. I loved everything they did with Corey Cunningham. And plus, I definitely got all the, like, I rewatched Christine for the tournament too, and I'm just watching the entire time like, oh, Cunningham, Arnie Cunningham, glasses. It was a complete copycat of Christine with the Arnie Cunningham character, or as a bully particularly says, Arnie Cunningham. But which that was a missed opportunity to kind of reference that joke with Corey Cunningham. They should have done that. But everything with Corey Cunningham, I absolutely love what they did. And it would have been perfect if they would have done John Carpenter's original idea of doing Halloween anthology movies, because his story alone would have been perfect to do the representation of evil. It can be anything. It can take shape of everything and different people. And with all of Corey's story, that would have been terrific. But the problem I have with it is you don't do that when you're trying to end a 45-year history, or at the time, 44-year history between Laurie and Michael. You needed to focus on that story. You needed to give that its proper like ending, its conclusion. To me, they just rushed through it like 10 minutes and put Michael in the freaking like meat grater. Like, all of it just, to me, not felt earned. It was, to me, in a way, disrespectful to Michael. And plus, what about the other characters? Lindsay just turned into a freaking bartender card reader after what she'd gone through. Allison just completely, like, just became even worse than Halloween Kills, and I thought she was pretty bad in Kills. And it ruined everything they set up in 2018. And then the thing is, Laurie, she just goes back from this badass bitch from 2018 and Kills, and she just turned nice and talked about ripping your breasts out and all that. And it just, to me, it makes absolutely no sense. Just everything Corey Cunningham I loved. Everything else I absolutely hated.
Yeah, like what I think they should have done is have ends be kills, and then for Kills, or which now will be ends, get rid of that whole side plot with that other escapee, because that was so ridiculous.
Oh, it's so bad.
Get rid of that completely, but then you still have like a Corey character set up that goes into ends to where they're going after two people, because it'd still be kind of like the same thing. They're going after two people in that one as well, because they're attacking the wrong guy. This time they would be attacking not the right guy, but still the right guy. So like, I feel like they could have just done it better, and it's just frustrating. I really want someone to make like a master cut, because I'm not doing it. I want someone to make a master cut though. of a way to make these 3 movies make sense somehow.
Mm-hmm. And that's the
Interslice
thing
them
too.
and make one long, big movie because I know it can be done
Mm-hmm.
just with pieces. But
No,
I've come around to all of them. They're all at least a 3 or 3.5. They're not higher than that for me.
mm-hmm.
But that's good in my opinion.
Yeah, but like,
So,
it actually gave me an idea. They could have introduced the Corey Cunningham character in the first one of 2018, and then when Allison and Cameron had that argument at the party, and she leaves, Corey could have followed her, and then you could have started that relationship right then and there, and let that blossom throughout the whole entire trilogy. I feel like that's an idea you could have possibly done, and then
yeah, because then we would already like get to know him.
yeah, or we
more.
get to know him throughout the entirety of the trilogy, and we like him. And then when evil takes him over, it makes us go like, "Ah, shit, evil got him."
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's like an idea you can do, but instead we got Oscar getting fed guacamole in very sexy ways.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What
it's
a
just
weirdo.
like, yeah. And I saw Jamie and P. Rig are in the chat. What's going on, guys? They didn't want to forget you all. But yeah, at the end of the day, though, I do like Kills a lot more because I just accepted it for what it is. But Halloween Ends, I just don't think that will ever go up any higher than a 2.5 for me. So,
Fair enough.
anything else you got for Halloween Ends?
It was a movie, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, it certainly was. And lastly, to end it, do you have anything else from 2022 that I forgot?
I don't think I did. No. Oh, I
Nope.
have Mr. Harrigan's Phone. I think that
Okay.
came out on Netflix. I did not watch it.
Did not watch it. Okay, but
But
we
it
definitely want
has
to.
the boy from It that plays Billy. He's a character, and it's a Stephen King story, but it's modernized because they're talking on cell phones, and it's about a guy that dies and he's texting through the phone. I did not watch it because the scores were not very good, and it was like an hour and like 50 minutes, and I was like, oof.
Yeah, I was like, nope. It needs to be an hour and a
So,
half at least to get me interested.
yeah, if it's like if the scores aren't that great and it's already past like an hour 40, I'm like, you're losing me.
Yeah,
If I'm
like
spending
no,
that
thank
much
you.
time watching it, I am one of those people. My attention span is short. Hate
Mm-hmm.
to admit it. If I'm at a theater, it's a different story. If I'm at home, it's a struggle. And so if it's long and the reviews aren't that great, I'm already like not interested going in. So I
Mm-hmm.
have not seen it, and I don't know when I will.
Yeah, but
But
no,
I thought
I'm glad you still brought it up because again, we don't want to forget any movies, even not the scores are good. We just because every movie's needs its fair chance. And that was it for 2022, correct?
yes.
Hell yeah. So guys, that we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up. How we wrap up this show is we're gonna go over the best and the worst. So the worst is pretty easy. So the worst is House of the Dead. It dominated every single category. So I gave it the big ultimate red X. So stay away from House of the Dead. Stay the fuck away. But let's cover the best of this month for what we talked about. The critics from Rotten Tomatoes says you need to give the original Halloween and Night of the Living Dead a watch, with both of them getting 96s. The Rotten Tomato audience says you need to check out The Nightmare Before Christmas at a 91%. IMDb is also on the agreement of The Nightmare Before Christmas train. Evan Letterboxd, and I mentioned this earlier, Possession with the highest score of all the movies we talked about today at a 4.1. So these are the movies you definitely need to check out. And I know we talked about a lot of movies, but is there like one or two movies that stand out to you that people need to give a watch?
I mean, besides like the main classics that we talked about, those are like a given.
Mm-hmm.
But Possession.
Yes.
Just because if I had to watch it, so do y'all.
Yeah, I would
You're
add
gonna get
Possession. But no, I would add Possession. But another one I would add as well is Deadstream, because that one came out towards the end of late last year, and it's a good. I want to say it's a good it's just a good fall. It's actually hard to explain, but it's just a good movie. But I suggest you all give it a watch if you have not seen it. So, Desi, is there anything else you want to address? And then we will tell everybody else good night.
I think that's it.
Alrighty, so that is a lot of movies, and guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We will be back towards the end of November to bring you all another episode of Back from the Dead. So, and we're gonna do the drawing for the spinning wheel drawing of the contest tomorrow. I'll be sure to reveal those results. And Destiny, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this October special. And I'm going to let you get back to it because I know you got a couple of days of October left, and I want you to take full advantage of that. So, guys, good night, and we will see you all for the next one.